to 20/20 vision, and, pardon the pun, I have never looked back. I want you to do the same thing. 919-510-6830. You can get a free consultation. We love free. Also, 2 years, zero-interest financing is available. Takes about 5 minutes per eye, and you could go back to work the very next day. 919-510-6830. TraversLASIK.com. If you are sick and tired of glasses and contacts, Dr. Lori Travers needs to be your next call. 919-510-6830 for Travers LASIK. The consultation is free. Perfect. TraversLASIK.com.
Check this out. The new iPhone 16 built for Apple Intelligence. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. Trade in any phone from one of our top brands for the new iPhone 16 with Unlimited Ultimate. Plus, get a new iPad. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details. Apple Intelligence coming fall 2024.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Bounces his way into the end zone. Touchdown!
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Mostly sunny skies for us this afternoon, but cool and breezy. A high of just 69 degrees with winds out of the north gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour. Chilly overnight tonight. We'll drop down to 45 degrees. The last time we saw 45 was way back in April. Tomorrow is sunny and dry with a high of 70.
Weather update is brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 168 points at 42,343. Market update brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities. This hour of the drive is brought to you by Zero Res. Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean with Zero Res, starting at just $119, and get a free dry cleaning with the purchase of an air duct cleaning. Look online today at ZeroResRaleigh.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Once again, today's show live from Charlotte for the ACC Tipoff, the official beginning of the ACC basketball season. I'm Tim Donnelly here in Charlotte, joined by Dennis Cox. Back at the studio, we have Graham Hill pushing the buttons to keep us up and running. Today's show is going to be action-packed, jam-packed with interviews. All right, we have head coach and 2 players from both UNC and Wake. That means Hubert Davis, Steve Forbes, whole bunch of players. We have the head coach from UVA coming up in the not-too-distant future. That's Tony Bennett, one of whatever it is, 7.
I think it's 7.
7 active head coaches with a national championship to his name.
Man.
We have Louisville's head coach, Pat Kelsey, who'll be joining us live. There's a lot to get to today.
Jeff Capel, Pitt basketball coach.
Pitt, North Carolina native, 1993. North Carolina High School Basketball Player of the Year.
That's right.
4-year starter at Duke.
That's right.
So we'll be talking with all of them getting ready for ACC basketball season. To start off, though, I've talked about how these events are unique. The ACC Tip-Off, ACC Kickoff for basketball, or sorry, for football. They're unique because it's rare we get players from different teams in the same room when it's not a game, when they're not locked in alpha mode, right? Like going trying to take the other team's head off. So you get to see a little bit of the social dynamics, and that's what I try to pay attention to, right? How do you carry yourself? Are you constantly staring at the guys from the other team, or do you act like they're not even there? Do you
are you friendly with them?
Did they come up to you? Do you go up to, like, all of that ends up being part of just a little like social experiment when it comes to these games, these events. So I thought, like, a few observations we'll get from ACC Tipoff for each team, starting with, I would say, the two teams we're going to talk to most today. We'll start with the Tar Heels. I don't know if anyone, actually, maybe one or two others, but RJ Davis coming into the season as the reigning Jerry West Player of the Year, which is the best shooting guard in the country, the reigning ACC Player of the Year, unanimous All-American, quiet confidence.
Yeah.
He didn't have to say anything, and everybody knew where he was. There is pressure on RJ Davis. There is expectation on RJ Davis. There's a world where he ends up the leading scorer in UNC history by the end of this season.
That's a real fact.
Both he and Hubert Davis, as you'll hear later in the show when we talk to them about goals for RJ Davis, brought up national championship. So there would be a reason for him to maybe be a little more serious, a little more stiff. Not that at all. He moved around very easily, and as maybe you would expect from a player of his stature. For Wake Forest, here's what I took away from Wake Forest. I want to be clear, this is not an insult. It has nothing to do with the way they play basketball.
Okay.
They remind me of a high school team.
In what way?
They are close. They are buddies. They hang out.
Okay.
Like you're never as close as anyone, like your high school teammate. It's friends, right? You're 17 years old. You're playing video games. You're still like hanging out at each other's house. You know each other's parents. Like you're just close.
Okay.
That's what I got from the three players that were here for Wake Forest and their coach in Steve Forbes. Efton Reid, you'll hear this later on, so pay attention for it. When he talks about Coach Steve Forbes, he doesn't say Coach. He doesn't say Coach Forbes. Calls him Forbes. It's like a nickname.
Yeah.
It just was a wildly, you could tell that they've been together for now a year, which is rare. Those three, it's Cam Hildreth, Hunter Salas, Efton Reid, and Coach Forbes. They've been together now for a full year.
Forbes.
What do I keep saying?
You said Coach Forbes. I know.
Forbes. I got you. I'm not as close with them. I'm not part of their clique. I'm sitting at a different lunch table in a high school cafeteria. There's just something where I feel like they genuinely enjoy each other.
Okay.
You get to some of the blue bloods, and this is not disrespecting them either, but it does become big business. It's, everything is about what's my prospect grade. Everything is about how are we going to win a national championship. Everything is a little more like me and you are teammates because you shoot the three well, and I set up the three-point shooters well. So we should link up. It did feel like Wake Forest, those guys would be friends, even if they didn't play basketball, which is a little unusual to be able to communicate that in an environment like this. For NC State, this was yesterday when NC State had their media availability. Swag, I guess, confidence.
Oh yeah.
It was obvious. Like if you had not watched any ACC basketball last year, and then you just got to be a fly on the wall, sit in a corner and watch all the events that took place here. And then afterwards we said, all right, who do you think is coming off an ACC championship? You probably would have been like, those guys in red were smiling a lot.
Yeah. Their coach was very energetic.
Yeah. There was big high fives and everything every time they saw anybody. And there were more jokes with them. And that's quite frankly not what we're used to seeing from NC State. Like NC State is usually all business, usually trying to come back from something. They're usually, waiting to wake up till the cards are stacked against them. But they came in today or yesterday, came into this week, felt like maybe even like forcing the happiness a little bit. They wanted everybody to be like, hey, we had a great run at the end of last year and we haven't slowed down.
No. And if you're Kevin Keach, you should project that.
Mm-hmm.
In all honesty, yeah. We got to a Final Four last year. It was special. We're trying to keep this thing going. Like, we're not trying to slow it down or like, hey, remember when? No, like, yeah, remember when, and then remember when we did it again. That's what he wants to say next year. That's the thing. He even said it to you yesterday. It's like the only thing that could top it is winning the whole thing.
If they do that, he's going to walk into the following year's ACC Media Day like on stilts with like fireworks. Yeah. Like he's because he didn't have the stilts or the fireworks, but it felt kind of that energy when they got here. Like they were throwing a party. They were this center ring at the circus. And then Duke, another one that we talked to yesterday. They're going to be Duke, right? People are going to notice. Mm-hmm. They brought Caleb Foster and Tyrese Proctor, and really enjoyed talking to them. You can catch both of those conversations on our YouTube page.
They're there.
That wasn't what any of us were curious about with this Duke team. Yeah, sure. Caleb Foster, Tyrese Proctor, they'll probably start. They'll probably be main contributors. The new guys are the talking point for Duke this year. Like Tyrese Proctor, we've seen for 2 years. We kind of know what he's going to do. If he shoots the ball better from three, then that'll unlock a level of his game. But it'll still be Tyrese Proctor who can now shoot. Like what is Kamen Malawash? What is Con Knipple? What is Cooper Flagg? Their freshman class is what we want to know about, and we're just going to wait till games to see that because there's not a coach in the country that's going to bring any of them to a media day event before they played their first game.
For sure.
Not even if you're the number one recruit and you played against LeBron and Team USA. You don't get to show up until you've earned it, and rightfully so.
So we'll never see Cooper Flagg in an ACC basketball tip-off.
Not unless he's probably 30 years from now, he's like Carlos Boozer, and he's here working as a media member after his career is over.
That's true.
That's the only way I see Cooper Flagg or Kamen Malawash coming to an ACC tip-off. They'll both be in the NBA by this time next year. That's just a little setting of the table. That's some of our observations.
By the way, we put a question out on our YouTube live chat. Who is your pick to win the ACC title this year in basketball? So
interesting.
Let us know your thoughts.
Interesting.
Is it Duke? Is it State? Is it Wake? Is it someone else? Is it Carolina? Aaron says Tar Heels always.
Is it Carolina? And this person says Carolina.
Yep.
So that's just a little table setting here. Some of our observations. We're obviously going to play so many of those conversations for you today, and you can make your own observations. You can have your own opinions on the subject. Before we do, though, we do have Tony Bennett, national championship winning head coach of Virginia, coming up in a few minutes. Before we do that, Tim Donnelly here for Window Nation. Window Nation can install your new windows in 1 day or less. I don't know about you, but like the windows are kind of, important to my house, right? So when Justin from Window Nation showed up at my house and he started talking about all of the different options we could have for windows, and you could take these two windows, make them one, you could put a bay window, started to talk about all this, my mind immediately went to, that sounds like I'm going to have like a tarp covering a giant hole in the side of my house for a long time. And then he hit it with 1 day or less. 1 day or less, you don't have to worry about that. So go ahead and give them a call for a bunch of reasons. 1, they work quickly. 2, best materials out there. 3, extremely qualified installers. 4, I could keep counting, but I'll stop and go to this. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free, plus pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years. It's all from Window Nation. Buy 2, get 2 free. No limit to the savings. They have all of the online reviews and everything you want to see from any business. So give them a call right now, 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION. Or visit them online at windownation.com. Once again, that's windownation.com. We'll take a break. When we come back, our conversation from earlier with Tony Bennett, one of 7 national championship winning active head coaches in college basketball. Stick around.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
The Blue Devils up 21-20, and they got their arms reaching for that bell.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med, Sammy's Tap and Grill, and Roofworks.
It's Trick Out Your Wheels with Sound Station and Security. Our contestants are ruling the streets. Here come the bikes, and the bass is bumping. Sound Station and Security can hook up all your vehicles with amazing custom stereo systems and speakers. Does that golf cart have strobe lights? It sure does. Sound Station has tons of LED lighting options for your bike, ATV, and even golf cart, and we install it all.
If it's got wheels, Sound Station and Security has got you covered. In Raleigh, Smithfield, and myhotsound.com.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers.
I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. Win or lose, every bet you place brings you closer to perks only Caesars can offer. Hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using the promo code Radio1000 and you'll place your first bet today. If you win, great. If not, you'll get it back as a bonus bet up to $1,000. Must be 21 plus and physically present in North Carolina. New users only must register using eligible promo code. First bet after registration must qualify. Max bonus bet $1,000. Bonus bet expires 14 days after receipt. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full items. Tribal Casino Gaming Enterprise is a licensed operator by the North Carolina State Lottery Commission. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Veterans, the Fed has done it. They've lowered interest rates, the moment we've all been waiting for. And at Loan Pronto, they've lowered mortgage rates along with it. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for my friends at Loan Pronto. Listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6%, Loan Pronto can now do a streamlined refi, lowering your monthly payment with no income verification and no appraisal. Veterans can now access up to 100% of their home's equity and turn that into cash. You can get 50, 75, 100 grand or more with no junk fees and no hassle, with an APR in the low 5s, so you can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, and car loans. Veterans typically cut their monthly payments by $850. At Loan Pronto, they respect what you've done for our country, and they show it. Call now for a free rate quote with no credit pull. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Joining us on our second day of men's basketball coverage from ACC Tipoff is the head coach of Virginia, Tony Bennett. Coach, first of all, thank you very much for taking the time. We just learned off air that our producer Dennis here played football back in the day with the voice of the Cavaliers. So I guess pass along to Freeman that there's some football scouting reports being passed around here at ACC Tipoff.
I never would have guessed that. I would have guessed Dennis played football by looking at him, but not John. But as you informed me, he had 10 interceptions. Must have been fast. So that'll be some good. We'll have a good time with that when we get into the weekly coaches show. But no, he's great. He's a great ambassador and a great voice for the Cavaliers.
That's best case scenario for John. He didn't have to tell you that he had 10 picks, yet
Yes.
somehow you found out.
Yes.
Like, it's better when other people talk about your
I
accomplishments.
want to find out what league this was, the level of caliber of play, but was this flag football or tackle football?
Kind of along those lines, we'll talk about your accomplishments quickly here. One of 7 active head coaches with a national championship. The ACC accolades speak for themselves at a place like this. But I did see an age stat about your team a little different this year. The youngest team in your 15 years at UVA.
Yeah.
Have you had to get on TikTok more, listen to different music, trying to relate to these guys? How is it different?
I did play an Eminem song, "Lose Yourself," so there you go. And they don't even know that's so old, though, right? Yeah, you thought it was going to come with something recent, so it's a great song. So,
absolutely,
no, there's a message in it. But no, we have a good group, and what I like, you kind of think in what we're looking at is the days of probably having a 4-year program and redshirting guys and getting them into their 4th and 5th year. And, obviously the COVID year will be gone after this year, which I think everyone is kind of looking forwed to. I think that lived had a long
seniors.
Yeah.
You feel like you have a longer history with those
long
guys.
shelf life for sure. But we lose 2 players this year. We'll have 2 seniors in Tane Murray. I was here at Media Day with Isaac McNeely, but Tane and Jalen Warley, one of our transfers. And so this team, the core of it, obviously every year, could you lose a guy or two? Absolutely. That's reality. But this team will be together for 2 years. And I think you kind of look at it in that model. And we got some guys who have some experience playing, but it is a newer team. Again, that's part of the landscape. I would assume a lot of coaches have that in their program. But yeah, for us, we've built it with our model with more of the upperclassmen and experienced players. And but we'll get to that next year. When the COVID year goes away, we'll be a mature team with some Virginia basketball experience. And I think that's important. And then again, this year, there's some upside there.
Prospect profile?
Trey Murphy would be mad if I didn't mention. There's a bunch of guys.
I'll say and more, and hopefully that'll cover it and keep them happy.
No, and Sam Hauser, that's good because he just signed a pretty good deal. But no, I think when you look at our team last year where we, struggled at times, we struggled to shoot the ball from deep consistently. We only had Isaac McNeely and at times Jake Groves, and then it was inconsistent. We had obviously some terrific players, but the way teams would really, collapse and get all over Reese or lay off and make it harder on other guys. Our hope is that what we've brought in and definitely with TJ Power, the ability to stretch the floor and shoot it. That's one of his strengths. Good passer, and he's almost 6'9", 6'8", just skill, can play some 3, some 4 as he continues to get stronger and develop his game. But that's one of the things we're trying to, this year open up the floor a little bit. There'll be more at times, more shooters from 3 on the floor than we could put on the floor last year, though we'll certainly miss the Reese and Ryans and some of the other guys.
You brought up McNeely as one of those shooters. You don't like to do the comparison, but when you bring back somebody like Kyle Guy to be on the coaching staff, and then you look at maybe McNeely's role, I have to imagine they're spending a lot of time with each other or at least working with each other because there are some similarities in their game.
Yeah, no, very insightful on your part. That's when Kyle came, I was like, get into that mind. I said, go attack and see what you can do. But having Kyle back, one, is just great because of the person he is and all he's done for Virginia basketball and his desire to mentor. I said, why do you want to leave? Because Kyle has a very successful play. And he said, I've done a lot. He said, I just feel he's getting his degree, which thank goodness for that. But he said, mentorship is like a gift of mine or something I feel strongly about. And you just see that. And he still can jump into practices and just dominates with his shooting. And so you see it firsthand. That's one thing. And then, he really works with our guys, developing their skills and spending time with them, talking to them and understanding that psyche, which is, I think, really a gift for our program, but for a guy like Isaac McNeely and the other players, just to understand, you don't have to be perfect, but the mindset that goes into it because he's lived it and done it at the highest of levels.
Tony Bennett, Virginia head men's basketball coach, joining us. How does the team react when that happens? You hear of coaches, maybe put in the picture, maybe you have a picture of the Hornets jersey somewhere on the wall. Like you remind them subtly that you had some game, but when an assistant is like, that's it, ball up, like, let me show you how to do it. How does the team react?
Yeah, no, when I asked them, do you guys know who Grandmama Larry Johnson is? And they're like, who? Huh? They don't. No. I was like, this is a sad day. All the Hornet fans are going to be like, how could you not know him? But these guys, time moves on.
I told you, it's the youngest team you've had. So,
yeah, that's right.
There were cool commercials. He dressed up like a grandma. Never mind.
That's right. But no, I think you're right. When they know, I mean, look, Kyle has the most famous 3 free throws, won a national championship 5 years ago or whatever it was. And so, you look at his success and guys, he's very well known. It's funny when a lot of the younger guys are recruiting, that's the guy they remember and know. Though we had DeAndre Hunter, Ty Drum, they remember some of them, but and great players, they remember Kyle. So yeah, his most recent ability to, how he played, what he did is huge. And again, they see it in practice when he shoots. And they're like, man, the way he gets a shot, the way he competes. We have Isaiah Wilkins too, who practices and is coaching with us. And even that, it's almost better than words when those guys are competing or when they get intense or when they speak up in a competitive drill. It's really good.
Last one before we let you go here, and I know you have a long day of media interviews.
I'm fresh. You guys are my second one, so
I appreciate you putting us, batting second. Klay Thompson moving to Dallas. This is a guy who was not the highest recruit coming out of high school, but you got him to go to Washington State when you were out there. How weird is it going to be to see your old player not alongside Steph Curry and the Warriors.
Yeah, well, Clay's story, what a remarkable story. We've been fortunate to find guys that we've never really had a 5-star. We've only had unranked guys, 3, 4-star guys, but yet the cool thing is we have we're 6th in active players in the NBA right now, and the most of guys that weren't in the top 35. We try to sell that to recruits, but it's important. Guys that have come, and Clay kind of for us is one of those who started that. Aaron Baines was another guy. There's an old name from the past. If NBA ball,
you're good at this. You're going to make sure you get your guys mentioned.
No doubt. But Clay, watching his career, and I only coached him 1 year, that I came to Virginia, but seeing his career unfold and what he's done, that'll be strange. But it's the fact that he lasted, they stayed together that long, all the success they had, and now you watch him. But talk about efficient, and just no one would have said, yeah, he's going to be good. Maybe he has a chance of being a pro, and then watching his career blossom. I mean, that's the best stuff.
I respect you for saying that, because most coaches by now would say, I knew when he was a junior in high school, he was going to be a 5-time All-Star and the best shooter.
No way.
You had some hope, and he lived up to it.
Yep.
Tony, we appreciate you for stopping by. Good luck this season.
Thanks, guys.
Once again, that was Tony Bennett, head coach, UVA men's basketball, talking about their season, bringing Kyle Guy back, and just a lot of ACC stuff there from Coach Bennett. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we have another head coach, maybe not one that's won a national championship as a head coach, but he's gotten as close as he can. He made it to the finals. That's Hubert Davis of UNC. Coming up next, stick around.
Football is on the menu tonight.
Showtime, prime time.
And we're delivering some fresh NFC action.
Here we go.
Woo! It's San Francisco and Seattle. Pre-game starts at 7:30. Kickoff at 8:15.
Y'all know what time it is, eh?
The NFL on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med.
Hey, together, baby. We just do this one play at a time.
99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
We came in for one thing, to win.
Hey, everybody. Paul Weihander with 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. Think about a SGP, just a quick one for the Thursday night football game. San Francisco at Seattle. Brock Purdy, over 200 passing yards. DK Metcalf, more than 100 receiving yards. And maybe a Kenneth Walker anytime touchdown. Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul. Paul with a capital P, and make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Who's ready for some football? Celebrate the season with award-winning wings and ice-cold pints at Carolina Ale House. With wall-to-wall TVs, Carolina Ale House is the go-to spot for every game. From Honey Buffalo to 5 Alarm to Carolina Barbecue, we've got wing sauces for all flavors. If you're feeling hungry, don't forget about our brisket French dip or Philly cheesesteak. Grab a front row seat, sip on your favorite beer, and watch your squad with us. Carolina Ale House. Ale yeah.
Is your heating and air system ready for cooler weather? Call Newcomb & Company today to schedule a routine maintenance and ensure your system is operating at peak performance. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs for HVAC and plumbing work. Newcomb & Company has served the area as a Carrier Factory authorized dealer for more than 3 generations. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company and Carrier. Your comfort is our business.
99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union are proud to announce the return of the Coastal Credit Union Scholar Athlete of the Month. For more than 20 years, we have honored over 200 student athletes that are making a difference on their team and in their community. If you are a teacher, parent, coach, or guardian, nominate your Scholar Athlete today. We will select one winner a month to be featured on 99.9 The Fan and on WRAL News Plus. To nominate a winner, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Congrats to last year's winners. Emma Penkunas of Holly Springs High School, Connor O'Toole of Athens Drive,
Mackenzie Smith of Fuquay Varina, Patience Ifadon of South Garner High, Carrie Ellen Bryan of Southern Lee, Carson Parker, Apex Friendship, Jason Howard of Wakefield High School, and Eric Stoll of Green Level. We also want to thank all of our other local schools who nominated a student: Apex Friendship, Jordan Matthews, Northwood, Green Hope High, Willow Springs, Jacksonville High, South Granville, Cleveland High, Riverside, and South Johnston.
This is Creighton Blackwell with Coastal Credit Union, and I would like to offer my sincerest thanks to every school that nominated a student for this year's award. This award is more than a celebration of exceptional athletes. It's also a celebration of the schools and the communities that helped them grow into the incredible leaders that we like to celebrate.
Congratulations to all of our Coastal Credit Union Scholar Athletes of the Month. If you want to nominate a high school athlete, text award to 919-860-5326.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan, continuing our coverage from Charlotte at ACC Tipoff. We're now joined by Hubert Davis, UNC head men's basketball coach. Coach, I want to talk about assembling this year's team.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of that was reassembling RJ Davis back onto the team and obviously getting him to commit back. Individually, he's done just about everything. When he's deciding to return, what were those conversations about?
Really, the conversations were about him doing what's best for him and his family. There were no conversations of trying to recruit him back to Carolina. What he's given this university, this program, myself as a head coach, I can't put it into words. And so for each one of our players, there's a number of things that I want for them, but here's two of them. I want them to absolutely crush it while they're here. And then I want them to be in position, because of their play here, to be in position to live out another dream of theirs, that is for them to play in the NBA. And so, RJ being ACC Player of the Year and first team All-American, put himself in a position where he had a choice. And my conversation with him was supporting him in whatever choice he made.
Is that different for somebody like Seth Trimble, who goes into the transfer portal and then decides to withdraw and come back?
Same conversation. I want our guys to do what's best for them. My preference is, in regards to Seth, is never put your name in the transfer portal. I want you to stay at Carolina and continue to improve and continue to grow. But the conversations are the same. At Carolina, there's something that has to happen for me. Is you got to want to be here, and you have to have a full commitment to being a part of not just this team, but this program and this university, and that's just really important to me.
Hubert Davis, UNC head men's basketball coach, connecting with us here at ACC Tipoff as we look at, again, assembling the team. Drake Powell, big top recruit coming in. I look at his bio, he's your cousin. Did you pull the full, did you have grandparents and aunts and uncles making the press?
Not at all. Not at all. It's never talked about it in the recruiting process. I'm his coach.
Okay.
And I wanted him to see what Carolina could be great for him. And I wanted him to see how he could be great for Carolina. And so my recruitment with him was the same as any other recruit, whether it's from high school or the transfer portal. And so thankful that he chose Carolina. Obviously, he's right there in Chapel Hill, but his level of play, his athleticism, his length, his versatility, along with his character, put him in a position to have an unbelievable freshman season.
And it helps having those genes, right? There's got to be something, the shooting ability, something that transitions.
Well, he has more genes than I do. I never was able to run and jump like him. His athleticism jumps off the page, and so I wasn't gifted with that.
But that leads me right into the next guy, Cade Tyson, out of the transfer portal, shooter, with the capital SHOOTER. Shouldn't spell on air.
Yeah.
Your all-time record for three-point percentage at UNC is 43.5%. Still stands to this day. Again, the genes, there's something there.
Yeah.
Cade is a career 44.6% three-point shooter. And any worried about the record?
No. In fact, I would like him to beat it.
On 2 or 3 guys to beat it this
year. As a
year.
former player, maybe I don't want him to beat it, but as a coach, I want him to crush it. I want him to make everything. But, you mentioned, Kay's ability to shoot the ball from the outside, but he's more than that. He's a basketball player. He's an excellent rebounder, defender. He can facilitate. Great leader, teammate. And so we're really excited and thankful that he's a part of our team.
Another freshman coming in here as we kind of make our way through how this roster came to be. Ian Jackson, one of the best guards in the country, shows up from the Bronx. Now, we all know, any basketball fan knows the stereotype and reputation of New York City ball handlers and guards. When you're putting together a team, are you looking for that edge? Is that something you want him to bring in his first year in Chapel Hill?
I do. My time when I was at Carolina, my 4 years there, we always had 2 or 3 guys from the New York area.
It seems like it. And Kenny Smith talks about it all the time. It seems like
little
it.
edge, little toughness about them. And me playing 4 years with the New York Knicks, I understand the type of mentality you have up there. And so we do heavy recruiting up north in the New Jersey, New York area. I like kids up there. They have an edge about them, a toughness, but a commitment to teamwork that I love. And that's exactly one of the many things that Ian brings.
And one of the things, and it may be talked about too much because every coach wants to do this a little bit, but definitely part of the narrative going into your season is you want to run.
Yeah.
Armando Bacot, not on the roster, which the way I've been describing it is the last time UNC played a game without Armando Bacot, Luke May scored 13.
Wow.
So it's Nasir Little came off the bench as a freshman. So there's been some time since Bacot was that centerpiece of UNC. With him not on the roster, does that allow you to maybe play your style a little bit more?
Well, Armando was my style too. I love having
maybe the tempo, right? Because Armando Bacot, back to the basket rebounder, a little different than the you mentioned the running and the jumping you're seeing on the roster this year.
Yeah, well, I would say, the foundation pieces of the way that we play are not changing. We want to dominate points in the paint through post and penetration. We want to live at the free throw line, live at the lane, and we want to put max pressure on the rim. And defensively, we want to be a good defensive team. We got to rebound, so that's not going to change with Armando gone. Now, there's opportunity for growth with other players, but we may have to tweak, pivot, alter, and change how we do that, as opposed to having a big guy like Armando that you could just throw the ball into the post and can get every rebound. And so those are things that we're going to have to do, and it'll come at it differently this year. But I'm really excited about seeing guys get bigger roles and step up and see it come from different areas and different places.
Coach, we appreciate you taking time here at ACC Tipoff, and good luck this season.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
That was the head coach of the UNC Tar Heels, Hubert Davis, from earlier today out here in Charlotte at ACC Tipoff. Let's just keep it rolling with the Tar Heels, shall we? Hubert Davis, the head coach. Let's go to the third leading vote getter and 6th man of the year votes in the ACC from a season ago, Seth Trimble, who went into the portal, came back out of the portal, stayed at UNC, and we caught up with him earlier today. Enjoy. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are now joined by UNC junior guard Seth Trimble out here in Charlotte at ACC Tipoff. Seth, I poked around on your Instagram a little bit. I want to talk about this offseason. We had ATVs in Aruba. We had a fresh suit at Churchill Downs, taking in some horse races.
Yes, sir.
You're out there helping get people registered to vote.
Absolutely.
We're just living the dream this offseason. It was a good one.
Living the dream. Most importantly, staying in the gym, but enjoying life at the same time. I spent my birthday in Aruba, got to go ATVing, so that was super fun. I was thankful and blessed enough to be able to be invited to Churchill Downs for the Kentucky Derby. That was an amazing time, and go vote. Go vote.
There you go. The offseason obviously was an eventful one for you for all the reasons we just mentioned, living the dream. You also dabbled in the transfer portal a little bit there. What led to the decision to put your name in the portal?
I felt like at the time, after just talking to who I need to talk to and just reflecting on just, how I felt the last 2 years, it just felt like no matter how much I didn't want to do it, it felt like I had to kind of. Yeah. So, that was that. That's why I put my name in the portal.
When you say talk to the people I need to talk to, when there's an elite level guard that's making a big decision about your career, who are the people you go talk to?
My family, my big brother is, a huge figure in my life. He's been in my shoes. He's been in the position. His coaches, the coaches want me to be happy at all times. So they're trying to understand me. My family, I said that, but yeah, really my family, my close circle.
So we're talking with Seth Trimble, UNC junior guard. The first question I asked, why'd you go in the portal? The next question is logical.
Mhm.
Why'd you take your name out of the portal and come back to UNC? What changed in that time?
It just at the time, it felt completely right. I was probably the most stressful time of my life. I prayed and prayed and prayed over again, just asked just wisdom, just to be guided into the right position. My family prayed. And like I said, when I entered the transfer portal, we talked to the people we needed to talk to again, talk to them. North Carolina recruited me the hardest, actually, out of anybody.
You're talking about recruited you out of the portal.
Out of the portal, yeah. They recruited me the hardest out of anybody.
How does that make you feel? That right, the team that you were a part of was the one that was most active in trying to get you out of the portal.
It really meant something to me.
Yeah.
It really meant something to me because, I never wanted to leave in the first place. But I think, both sides of the party, we recognize maybe where things could have went wrong and, we wanted to grow from it. So just knowing that they were going after me the hardest, it meant the world to me.
Looking at your season a season ago, third leading vote getter for ACC Sixth Man of the Year, and I can name a handful of highlight dunks that I can see like in my mind's eye right now. How important is it for you to maybe individually, right, aside from team goals, work your way into a starting opportunity or minutes or role, like going back out of the portal? I assume those were conversations you had.
Absolutely, it's huge. I'm not worried about or too focused on being a starter or coming out the bench, being a sixth man, whatever it is. I know my role is going to be very important and crucial to this team no matter what. But I just want to be the best version of myself I can be in whatever position that is this year. I just want to be the most confident, the most free version of myself that I could possibly be. AZ the whole summer has been telling me just to be me. So I just want to make sure in whatever position that is, I'm being me.
What is your role in this team?
To lead on the defensive end especially, but lead the guys on the offensive end as well, make the right plays, and just to be vocal. I think I'm one of the more vocal guys this year. It's RJ and I, and Ellie has done a great job. Jalen Washington's done a great job. I say us four are probably the most vocal guys, and we just have to make sure that we really continue that because, quiet teams don't win games.
The great defenders are usually the loudest.
Right.
They're always chirping. So
right.
It makes sense that you'd be one of the vocal guys. Another role I add to you is you are kind of a spark.
Absolutely.
We talk about the dunks that I mentioned. When you feel the team needs that, do you almost go hunting? Are you out there like trying to get your steps right? From the free the 2-footer that I'm thinking of in the ACC championship game, you couldn't have been that far in the paint. Do you go hunting for those when you feel like it's necessary?
Definitely, and not just talking about dunks particularly, but I'll go hunting for just that spark moment. There are a lot of times last year where, the stars just kind of came out flat, and I knew it was my job, whether it was to jump in the passing lanes, to go get an aggressive rebound, whatever it was, just to get a defensive stop. I just had to make sure I did it because, they come out slow. So, yeah, being a spark is definitely part of that role.
This is going to be the most basic, generic fan question I ask, but is there a better feeling than dunking it on someone's head in a game, in a big game, the way we've seen you do a few times?
Yeah, no, there's not. That UC Riverside game was I can't even tell you how I felt. I blacked out. It was it was the craziest thing ever. I really just blacked out, and then all of a sudden I see all these fans and my teammates on their feet. It's crazy.
As a leader, and we're talking with Seth Trimble, UNC junior guard here at ACC Tipoff. As a leader, as one of the vocal guys on the team, do you have December 4th circled on your calendar, which is the Alabama game? Exactly.
Absolutely.
You didn't have to say it.
Absolutely.
For a little bit of revenge?
Yep. They got us the last 2 years. I feel like we made mistakes. I think they played the better game last year, absolutely. But I think we made mistakes where we may have, given them the game. So I think that's definitely a get-back game. It's going to be a lot of emotion and, personal motives for that one.
Are y'all ready to run the way that it seems like Coach Davis wants to run this year? He's talked about being the fastest team transition that UNC has had in the last few years.
Absolutely. I think you're never in true season shape until you start really getting into the season. So we're not, right there yet, but I mean, we're ready and we're embracing it. We're excited to run.
Are you guys having like a Coach Carter preseason? Is it like suicides
No,
and hills and
it's
everything?
not too bad, but I mean, we're playing so much and we're getting up and down so much that, I mean, it almost feels like it.
As one of the better defenders on the team, particularly on the perimeter, so you've been going up against these guys and pickup. What newcomers should we be really looking forward to as far as scoring the basketball?
I think Drake will do a great job. I think
Drake Powell,
Ian will do a great job.
Ian Jackson.
Cade will do a great job. Right. And I think Venn is going to surprise a lot of people with his ability just to kind of create in our more freelance offense that you'll see later this year.
All right, Seth Trimble, UNC junior guard. Thank you for stopping by. Good luck this season.
Thank you for having me.
Once again, Seth Trimble on his way back to UNC after taking a brief hiatus in the transfer portal. Never really left. But we've also been saving the star of UNC, RJ Davis. I think it's fair to say star of UNC, star of the ACC, the returning player of the year, RJ Davis, stopped by our table here at ACC Tipoff in Charlotte earlier today. So let's, without further ado, here's RJ Davis. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, is lucky to be joined by RJ Davis here at ACC Tipoff, UNC grad student guard, defending reigning ACC Player of the Year, Jerry West Award winner. I'll just throw one more stat at you. First UNC guard to be a consensus unanimous first-team All-American since Joe Forte back in the 2000-2001 season. So we could go on, but yeah, I think you get the gist. RJ, we'll start with some stats. Does the number 784 mean anything to you?
Not to my knowledge.
Cool. What about 2,872?
2,872?
Yep.
Is that T. Hand's scoring record?
That's Tyler Hansborough's scoring record, all-time leading UNC scorer.
Yep.
784 is what you need to get to tie. And it's also the exact amount of points you scored last season.
Oh, really?
You scored 784 last year. You need 784 to tie Tyler Hansborough. Is that something you're chasing? Is that maybe one of the reasons you're still at UNC this year?
I mean, it's crazy just hearing, how many points I scored last year, because I honestly did not know how many points I scored last year. But just to be in that conversation and to have the chance to be able to break it or just be close enough to break it, it means a lot. It's kind of hard to put into words, but I don't really have like a main focus on it going into this year. I kind of just want to go out there, just play my game, play basketball. And if I happen to break it, I break it. So it will definitely be a surreal moment if I do.
I have one more stat for you, one more number. Do you know what 2,118 represents?
Is that my?
That's not you. You're 2,088. So
that's mine, though.
It is not.
Is it Phil Ford?
I believe that is your dad's scoring total at Mercy College.
And he is the all-time leading scorer there.
You are 30 points away from passing your dad in college basketball scoring. There's not many people that are top 5 in UNC scoring history, but also the second leading scorer in their own family. What's maybe Pop's going to say when you get those 30 points and then pass him on the all-time college scoring list?
Yeah, I think his first initial thought is going to be like, he'll always say to me like he could see like back in his days that he'll beat me in my prime and his prime.
Okay.
So he'll brag about that, but he'll just be happy for me because he's put all of his time and effort into me to make sure that I was being able to be the best player I can be and put myself in the position to where I am now. So, but just to hear that out loud, it's a family of bucket getters.
Family of bucket getters. I also think he may have done it without a 3-point shot. So
I don't think they had 3-point shots bad.
So that's my point.
Which makes it even harder.
I was going to say, so you might have to, beat him by a couple hundred to make up for that. So obviously, with you not being aware of all those numbers off the top, that's not the motivating. Like your individual scoring records aren't the reason for you being back at UNC. So what is it? What is the reason that this year was one you wanted to have in Chapel Hill?
Yeah, obviously those individual accomplishments and accolades are great, but there's one thing that's left on the table and unfinished business for me, and that's overall to win a national championship. That's always been my goal going into college. Being here for 4 years, going on 5. got super close my sophomore year, and I want to be able to feel that feeling again, because that's like one of the greatest feelings you'll ever feel in your life, and one of the great experiences as well. So that's like the main goal, and just honestly just my legacy, my impacts on this program, this university, on my teammates. It's hard to say no to a university like this. I mean, to have another year, to play another year here and run out that tunnel in front of the best fans, and to put that jersey on one more time, it's like, why not?
So is it championship or bust? If that's the motivation for coming back, is that the measure of success for this year's team?
It's not going to be championship or bust. It's going to just, the measure for this team is going to be how can we improve each day. The main goal is obviously to win as many games as we can and win every tournament we can, because I mean, as a competitor, I feel like you should always have that edge and that mindset that you want to win all the time. Obviously, lives happen, games happen, things are not going to go your way all the time, and probability plays a role into things. But that should always be in your mind, to go out there and wanting to win and wanting to compete. So that would be the measure of this team's success, is wanting to win.
RJ Davis, UNC grad student, guard, ACC Player of the Year a season ago, Jerry West Award winner, joining us here at ACC Tipoff. Every great player, right? And this becomes the legend of like the greats in the NBA, that 10 years in, they take a summer, they add something to their game that they didn't have. Obviously, with all the accolades I just read, you had a pretty good year last year. What do you want to add to it individually?
Yeah, individually, I just want to add to my overall game, sharpening my tools in terms of my shooting capability, making sure that's up to par, my playmaking. And I feel like my defense really took a big step last year, so I want to be able to take another huge step this year. But overall, add on to my leadership role vocally. That's been a huge challenge for me this year, just because I know of, we have a lot of younger guys and inexperienced guys, and it's a quieter team than last year's team in terms of personality. So being able to kind of uplift the guys and bring that energy, because leadership, I've learned from one of my strength coaches. He said, leadership is a full-time job. You should be exhausted by the end of the day. And so I take
that sounds like a strength coach.
Yeah. I take an account into that, and making sure I'm holding myself accountable in doing that.
You're going to miss Armando? You guys have been kind of leading this program for the last few years. How much are you going to miss him? It's
hard to replace Mondo. He's one of a kind, player, person. And, I always say it felt like he's been here longer than the 5 years he's played here for. But just the impact that he left on this university and me personally has been something that I can't ask much for. But I enjoyed it. I do miss him a lot. But it allows other guys to kind of just step up and mold into the players that they're able to become.
RJ, thank you very much for taking the time. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Once again, that was RJ Davis, the returning ACC Player of the Year.
Yeah.
We talked about it earlier, the comfort from him, not only because he's really good, but also he's been doing this ACC tip-off thing now for a while.
Yeah, he's used to it.
He's walking around. I remember you from last year talking to Louisville media and stuff, because he's just been here before.
There's nothing he hasn't experienced yet in terms of
There's one thing.
Well, I mean, he hasn't won a national championship, but in terms of he's been to a national championship, so he knows how to handle the Final Four, tournament run. He himself with the individual accolades, like he's been through it all. So nothing is going to phase him at any point this season, and it shouldn't. He's like, hey, I've played in Cameron. I've played on the biggest stage where everyone's watching. Like, yeah, and I've also been the leader of the offense. Nothing's going to phase that guy.
Part of what their season is going to be about is transitioning that experience from RJ Davis and how much he can help Drake Powell, Ian Jackson, Cade Tyson, some of these other main contributors who are either fresh out of high school or playing at a mid-major program and transferred in. Guys like Elliot Cadeau and Seth Trimble, who we also talked to, they may not have played in Final Fours, but they've played in big games, right? They've played in Duke, Carolina. They've played in UNC State. Like
they've got to a Sweet 16 last year.
They've played in. You're right. They played in the ACC tournament. So I'm less worried about them. But anytime, regardless of how talented they are, and Drake Powell is as talented as they get, and Ian Jackson is as talented as they get. Regardless of the talent level, you worry about freshmen in those moments for the first time. And if RJ Davis can kind of be like, hey, this is This is what I did. This is what Caleb Love did. This is what he can go through a list. This is what we used to do when we played against so-and-so, and just use that kind of name droppy stuff to aid those young guys. I think that's going to be a big part of their season. And Hubert Davis as well, obviously. Coaches can play that role as well. And I really liked, it's always funny getting like players and coaches and interviewing them back to back like we just did, because they might see the same situation differently.
Sure.
Seth Trimble says, "Oh, UNC recruited me the hardest out of anyone once I went into the portal," which I thought was interesting because UNC was the team that he was considering leaving. And then you talk to Hubert Davis, and he goes, "Oh, we don't recruit guys back. We just talk to them about what's best for them." So it's
hey, what's best for you is right here, buddy.
Yeah. It may sound like I'm recruiting and telling you to come back, but what I'm really doing is telling you, here are your options, and here's what we believe is best for you. It's the new college basketball is those relationships matter so much.
By the way, Seth Trimble, bigger than you think. Like,
True.
He's like broad-shouldered. Like, I mean, he's legit like 6'3", 6'4", but like broader shoulders. Like some of these guys are a little bit more long. Like, no, he's broad-shouldered. No wonder like he's such a great defender on the perimeter. Like, because no one can get past him. The dude's going to push people around.
And well, the other thing is, I thought he was like 6'1".
Yeah.
Which made the dunks differently. Like 6'3", 6'4", and then the crazy dunks, it's like, all right, that makes a little bit of sense. I thought he was yamming on people at 6'1". The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, even though I knew his listed height, you can't always believe that. The Drive with
the
Tim
hair and the shoes go a long, long way.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on here, Dennis, you have something for him?
Hey, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. We talk about getting ready for the season, whatever season it might be. I know as a motorcycle rider, I'm geared up for riding season. And speaking of geared up, I got to make sure my gear is in proper working order before I get on the motorcycle. That's something that's very important. You want to make sure that your bike's in proper working order, that your gear is in proper working condition. Make sure your bike is serviced with a routine service like you normally do your car. All those things matter about being safe out there on the road. But unfortunately, injuries do happen. And this is where Law Tigers comes in. Law Tigers, give them a call if you're injured in a motorcycle accident at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance companies. Talking about getting geared up, motorcycle riders, they should understand that Law Tigers, they're riders too. So they know what your gear is worth. They know what your bike is worth. They know what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation with Law Tigers, it's always free, and they do not get paid until your case settles. If you've maybe been injured in a motorcycle accident, even a few months ago, back in the spring, still give Law Tigers a call at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS and see what they can do for you. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
When we come back, we're going to talk to the 1993 North Carolina State High School Basketball Player of the Year. He also happens to be the head coach of Pitt basketball, which is why he's here at ACC Tipoff, and a former Duke basketball player in his own right. Jeff Capel next, right here on The Drive.
The Adam Gold Show.
Look, we can talk about all of the scenarios and what happens next, but let's just remember, Mack Brown came back and restored order to North Carolina football. He got relationships with the high schools back going forward so you can recruit locally. Right now, it's not going well, and the future isn't super bright, but Mack deserves credit for getting them to this point.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending in Cary. Now that the Fed has finally begun their path of rate cuts, trying to decide when to finance becomes very challenging. Do I lock now? Do I wait? At Miller Lending, we offer a solution to the question of timing with our popular no closing cost program. With no fees charged or added to your loan amount, you simply close on today's rates free of charge and refinance any time rates fall. Having done our first no-cost loan all the way back in 1987, we've now funded over $10 billion in no-cost mortgages, saving our customers thousands of dollars in needless fees. Lately, we've seen a trend of even higher closing costs as borrowers chase rates, only to see them drop considerably 4 months later. So whether you're purchasing a new home or simply refinancing the home you're in, why not call Miller Lending and say goodbye to closing costs forever? 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 2502146.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Sammy Hanna, owner-operator of the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I tell people this all the time. If I am doing a commercial for somebody, I am vouching for who they are and what they do. You guys do great work, but your customer service stands above all the great work that you do.
Adam, I truly appreciate that testimonial. And yeah, we try to take pride in our customer service and meet and exceed our homeowners' expectations on all their home improvement needs. Obviously, there's many companies out there that do what we do. If you Google home improvements Raleigh, you're going to get many, many companies. But you're not going to find too many companies out there that have a 4.9 rating and over 800 Google reviews and over 7,000 Guild quality reviews. It takes a lot of work on our part to make sure we meet and exceed all your expectations on customer service. And we're going to continue to do so because that's why we've been in business since 1961.
I have used the Aluminum Company. I have not heard anyone that had anything but incredible things to say about all of you, and that is amazing. That's a testimony to how you guys do it. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. A breezy afternoon out there with sunny skies. We'll see gusts 20 to 25 miles per hour out of the north, and that's going to usher in some chilly air for tonight. We'll see a low of 45 degrees after highs in the upper 60s this afternoon. The coldest temperature that we've seen so far this fall season. And tomorrow will be cool as well, a high of 70 under sunny skies.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 57 points at 42,454. This hour of the drive is brought to you by Zero Res. Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean with Zero Res starting at just $119 and get a free dry cleaning with the purchase of an air duct cleaning. Book online today at ZeroResRaleigh.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Joining us now at ACC Tipoff here in Charlotte, Jeff Capel, head coach of Pitt basketball, former 4-year starting guard at Duke, and the 1993 North Carolina High School Player of the Year. Back in your home state. We'll start there, right? When you're back in the home state for something like this or recruiting, right, something other than a business trip for a game, is there anything you have to do? You have to check off? You have to eat something in North Carolina you need to get your fix?
Yeah, normally if I'm here in the morning, I normally try to hit a Biscuitville. That's my spot. And then anytime in the afternoon, I'll try to hit Cookout.
Okay.
I try to hit places that we don't have up in Pittsburgh. And those are 2 of the staples from my time in North Carolina.
That is, I think you're going to get a lot of nodding from all of our listeners. Right? They're going good choices. Looking at this offseason and coming into the new season, do you use the NCAA tournament snub as anything? Right, researching for this interview, you type in like Pitt basketball 2024, a lot of like first 4 out, snub, first 4 out. Did you let that still be a thing, or is it completely flushed?
Well, our guys won't let it. You know, our returning guys certainly feel a certain way about it. for me, I'm trying to focus on right now and what we have to do to become the best team that we can be this year. I certainly thought that we were deserving last season, but I'm not a decision maker. And, it was very unfortunate for our guys, for our program, for our fans. But we have to do everything we can to make sure this team is in the best place where that doesn't happen to us again.
So what is that emphasis? How do you make sure that you don't leave it in the selection committee's hands?
Well, one of the things is trying to control what we can control. We need to win more in the non-conference. I mean, that's as simple as that. We need to win more in the non-conference. And then we need to root like hell for the teams that we play in the non-conference to win after we play them. I mean, to me, it's as simple as that. Like we had 2 games last year where I thought that we thought, and I think everyone thought, both teams would be really good. West Virginia, who we play every year. Then another game that we didn't schedule. It was given to us by the TV networks in the SEC Challenge, Missouri. Both teams at the beginning, everyone thought was going to be very good. Both teams were tournament teams the year before, and both teams turned out to not be good. And we beat West Virginia. We lost to Missouri. I think that's the reason why we didn't get in. Certainly our loss against Florida, we have to be able to win those games. And that's what we're trying to do, become the best team that we can be and just focus on us, man, and be as good as we possibly can be.
From an ACC perspective, we're here at ACC Tipoff. I think everyone that is a fan of the conference wants to see as many teams get into the NCAA tournament as possible. Yesterday, ACC commissioner, I think it was yesterday, it all bleeds together.
Yeah.
Jim Phillips said he'd be open to shrinking the conference schedule. Like, do you think there are things that need to change in how the conference operates to make sure that good teams that win in the tournament and the ACC championship tournament aren't being held out of the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think we have to look at everything. I don't know the answers to that, but I do think that we have to look at everything because it's a travesty that we don't get more teams in. Last year was us. The year before last, it was Clemson, who was so deserving. The year before that, it was Wake Forest, who was so deserving. Hell, last year, I thought that Wake team was one of the best 64, 68 teams in the country. And so we all feel like we're more deserving. And when we look at the other conferences that are getting 10 teams in, 11 teams in, and we've gotten 5 the past couple of years, it is very frustrating. So we do have to look at something and try to figure out a way that we can put ourselves in the best position to get more teams in.
Jeff Capel, head coach Pitt basketball, former Duke player, joining us here at ACC Tipoff. I want to go back to March 5th. Florida State goes into your arena. You win the game, 88-73. But there's this Cam Corrin, a sophomore guard, puts up his season-high 25 points for Florida State in the loss. Was that when you decided right then and there you wanted to get him out of the transfer portal and bring him to Pitt for this year?
Well, we had played against Cam for 2 years, his freshman and sophomore year at Florida State. And we were big fans of his. I mean, look, I'm a fan of basketball. And so when you play against someone or you watch people play, man, I really like this kid. I mean, I can tell you guys in this league right now that I love, like I think that are really good. He was one that I thought was super talented. And I remember saying to our staff, if he ever goes into the portal, and at that time, listen, man, like you hear stuff, you start to hear, and one of the rumors was that Leonard Hamilton was going to retire. And so that was my thing. If Coach Ham retires and this kid goes in the portal, like we have to get him. And so when we saw him going to the – first and foremost, I was glad that nothing happened with Coach Ham. I'm glad he stayed. But when the kid went into the portal, then we immediately reached out and got him up on campus, and we're very, very fortunate to get him. I think he's really talented. He's an unbelievable kid. He's been up there since June, and he's someone that we look to be a big piece of what we're doing.
So is there a list in like a locked drawer in your desk of when you're watching film scouting guys? If they pop on screen, do you write it down for a rainy day?
You don't write it down. You keep it in your head.
There you go.
What did Robert De Niro say in Goodfellas? Like you don't write anything down.
No
you
evidence.
keep it up here. But no, you keep it in your head. And look, I mean, nowadays, if we're being completely honest, when you recruit a kid in high school, if you don't get them, you got to keep the relationship because it could come back to you. even when I'm out now in the summer recruiting at high school events, we may see kids and I may make a mental note of, all right, we're not going to get him, but if he transfers, let's make sure we, keep a relationship with the coach and things like that. That's the nature of where we are right now. It used to be 2 years ago before they eliminated, it's really no one-time transfer anymore. You can do it as much as you want. So you would look at guys like we have a kid, Ish Leggett, that transferred to us from Rhode Island. When we got him, we knew or we thought, okay, we'll have him for 2 years because he's already exhausted the one-time transfer. And then midway through last year, they got rid of that. So then it's like, okay, we have to recruit him over. You have to recruit him over. So you have to recruit your guys, and you're constantly looking at other guys. Hey, if they go into the portal, I've seen them here. We know the numbers. We know what they can do. We've seen them in high school. So you have some kind of feel for it because it happens so fast.
And kind of specific to your team, Bub Carrington was a lottery pick last year, which is, to me, the ultimate first-class problem, right? Because he was not one of the NBA big board guys when you recruited him. He was in the 90s of overall recruits in the country, 4-star kid. Is it tough on the program when someone so quickly, he's a lottery pick. They play him so quickly into one of the best NBA prospects that he leaves maybe before you were planning?
No, it was great. It's great. It's great for us. It's great for him. It's great for our program. And we were so happy for him. Once he got off to the start that he got off to, that I knew that it had an opportunity to happen fast. When Bub got there in the summer and we started working with him, I told our staff, hey, I think this thing with him, and I told his dad, I think this could move pretty fast. I didn't think it would be 1 year at the time, but once we started playing the games, that I knew that it was going to have an opportunity to do that. In saying that, once we got to around January, where we became the team I thought we could be, which was pretty good, as a staff, I would say we would talk all the time and meet, and we would say, we want to bring Bub, Ish, and Jalen Lowe back. At the very least, we got to get 2 of them back. And the only place we should lose them to is the NBA. We can't lose them to anywhere else. And so we want to make sure the experience for all 3 of them are really good. So we lost Bub to the NBA. That was great. It was great for him. It's great for our program. And more importantly, just as important, we were able to retain Lowe and Leggett.
Quickly here before we let you go, whether it's Carrington, who we just mentioned, early in your career, previous stops, it's Tatum, it's recruiting Zion, there's Blake Griffin. You've been around some of the sensations, right? The real famous college basketball players. Have you seen something like the Cooper Flag stuff where the Team USA clips were going so viral and the fame is kind of growing a level?
Well, it's certainly well deserved. He's a talented young guy, and the thing that I admired about him when I saw him in high school at some of the AAU events is how competitive he is. He is super, super competitive, and I thought he was obviously an elite player, but you very rarely see a guy that young that's so good defensively and takes such pride in that. I'm not sure there's been anything that's been more hype than Zion coming out, though. Cooper has the ACC stuff. The USA basketball stuff. Zion didn't have that opportunity, but when he was coming out, his stuff, because it was the social media, a level of athleticism and power that I'm not sure you've ever seen. But so I would compare it a little bit to that.
Jeff, we appreciate you for taking the time to chat, and good luck this season.
All right.
Once again, Jeff Capel, head coach of Pitt and North Carolina native. Going to grab some Biscuitville and some cookout, I guess, while he's here in the state of North Carolina on rare occasion where it's not an away game. We have more coaches coming your way here, not live, some recorded from ACC Tipoff, the official tipping off of ACC basketball season. We have maybe Mr. Congeniality of an event like this. Steve Forbes, just seems like everybody likes him. Wake Forest head coach. He'll be coming up in just a few minutes. But first, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Lower mortgage rates are finally here, folks, thanks to the Fed and Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.59% APR. That's the lowest in 2 years. Now, whether you got your loan last month or last year, it's time to go give Loan Pronto a call and dump that high rate loan. You can lock in a lower rate fast with virtually no paperwork and usually no appraisal. There's no limit on how many times you can refi. So get started. Use this opportunity to get cash out and wipe out your credit cards. You can do a cash out refi and get 50, 75, 100 grand or more out of your home. Use that to pay off all your high interest debt and end up with just one low monthly payment. If you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Purchase loans available as well, folks. So call now. Get your rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. VA Streamline loans are also available with Loan Pronto. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
As I said, coming up next on The Drive, Wake Forest head coach Steve Forbes joined us here at our table at ACC Tipoff earlier today. That's coming up.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk, Panthers Playbook, the Paw Print. Follow your Carolina Panthers all season with us.
Dalton is in empty. Here's the snap. Pocket holds. Andy fires downfield. 1-6. Touchdown. End zone. Center cut. Deontay Johnson.
Your home for complete Carolina Panthers coverage. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. So many of you have told me about your plans for the future. Starting a business, buying a home, retiring near your grandchildren. But prices are too high. So let me tell you what I will do about it as president. I will take on price gouging. I will lower the cost of healthcare insurance. We cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. I'm running to do that for everyone. And I will provide new down payment assistance to first-time home buyers and tax benefits to people who want to start their own business. Donald Trump, well, he wants to give more tax breaks to the wealthy, whereas I will cut taxes for the middle class instead. Because I know working people want to do more than just get by. You want to get ahead, and that's the future you deserve. And that is what I will focus on every day as your president. Paid for by Harris for President.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Win or lose, every bet you place brings you closer to perks only Caesars can offer. Hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using the promo code Radio1000 and you'll place your first bet today. If you win, great. If not, you'll get it back as a bonus bet up to $1,000. Must be 21 plus and physically present in North Carolina. New users only must register using eligible promo code. First bet after registration must qualify. Max bonus bet $1,000. Bonus bet expires 14 days after receipt. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full items. Tribal Casino Gaming Enterprise is a licensed operator by the North Carolina State Lottery Commission. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to HIMSS.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. It's getting cold. Your heating bills are on the rise, and your house's old and damaged windows are letting all of that heat and your money go right out the window. Good thing there's Window Nation. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months. You'll love your windows like Albert, who says great value, great product, and great customer service. Hurry, sale ends October 31st, so schedule a fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or at windownation.com.
With all these new winners at the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club, we need to decide who's in charge.
We need a top prize winner.
We need someone who's good with words, like us crossword winners.
If elected leader, I will extend the hours during which all winners can use the diamond-encrusted hot tub.
Yes. New scratch-offs mean new winners. This month's tickets are packed with $370 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.04 to 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, joining us at ACC Tipoff in Charlotte. Steve Forbes, Wake Forest head men's basketball coach. Coach, thank you for taking the time.
Oh, yeah, love to be here. It's great.
I noticed something different about you at events like this. Most coaches, we see them come down that escalator over there. It's the first time we had seen them. They run over here, they do their interviews, and then it's like, poof, they disappear.
Yeah.
But I come down to get some breakfast here, and you're sitting with the media, eating breakfast.
Well, I drove down this morning, and I got here kind of early. I didn't know how the traffic would be, and I saw David Teal over there, and I really respect David. And so I just wanted to go over there and visit with him, and then Goodman sat down next to me, so then I left. But no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, that's why we're here, to see people and interact and promote your program, promote the league.
Is it intentional? Like, do you set out with that kind of idea to be the man of the people when everyone else gets off their private jet and then back on the? You're talking about traffic.
No.
That's the most relatable thing you could talk about.
No. That's just who I am. I one thing you'll find with me, what you see is what you get. And I would hope people would understand that that's very genuine. I like people. I'm in a people business, and so I just like being out and talking to people.
All right, well, you're in the people business. Again, most teams here bring 2 players. You bring 3.
I did.
What is it about those 3 people?
Well, because I have 3 really good.
And we're talking about Hunter Salas, Efton Reid, and Cameron Hildreth, just so everybody else knows.
They tried to enforce some policy that we could only bring 2, and I said, I'm either bringing 3 or 0. So, I mean, you just can't differentiate between those 3 because they're all really important players to our program and I think to the league. I mean, Hunter Salas is a first-team All-League player. He's a newcomer of the year in the league. Had a great year, went in the draft, could have went, came back. Most times that doesn't happen. I broke down and cried when he came back, and in a good way. Cameron Hildreth is a 4-year guy. How many more of those guys are we going to see? And maybe in my career, I don't know.
A redhead 4-year guy from England.
From London. Bangers and mash, he's going to be a 3-year starter. He's already scored 1,000 points in his career. I think he's one of the hardest playing guys in college basketball. And then you got Efton Reid back, who's one of the better bigs in our league and a tremendous leader on and off the court. So those guys are just outstanding players and outstanding people. So I'm excited to have them here. And they deserve this.
We're talking with Steve Forbes, Wake Forest head men's basketball coach. I want to focus in on Efton Reid because I was looking up on his history. This is the first time since his sophomore and junior year of high school that he's been at the same school with the same coach for 2 consecutive years. What can that do for it? Like he's a big with a unique skill set, but he's been trying to learn the system every year for the last 4 or 5 years.
I think stability's been really good for him, and I think this is why he's evolved really truthfully as a leader. And we don't always have, everybody talks about having a leader, okay, but most guys can't lead themselves. So you can't be a leader if you can't lead yourself. And he does all the right things on and off the court. And so I think him, being established at Wake, and then this is really the first full year he's going to have too. You think about it, last year he missed 9 games because of this waiver situation. The year before at Gonzaga, minimal playing time. So really his freshman year at LSU is the last time he's really played a whole season. And so I think he's excited, and I'm excited to see what he can do.
I want to go back to something you said earlier in the conversation when Hunter decided to come back. You cried those happy tears.
I did. I was driving. I almost drove off the road. No. Yeah, you just don't win that. You just don't get that. It just doesn't happen a lot.
So a player goes into like you said, put his name in the NBA draft, brought it back out, and came back to school. Does he come with a checklist of the NBA said I need to be on ball more, I need to shoot the 3 more, and do you work on that?
It's a great question. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we do any of that to handicap our team. I mean, I think there's some things that he can do more, but we were going to do that anyway. Like his usage rate had to go up a little bit, even though he had the ball in his hands a lot. It's probably not enough. Some of that is on him because I think last year he was developing into the role of being the alpha male. He hadn't been that, he'd been at Gonzaga. So sometimes because they have other guys, and sometimes I had to say, go get the ball, there
were a few games where you could tell he was feeling it. And, the 30 plus.
I mean, for the most part. But there was times like, dude, you got to have the ball in your hands. We went in a situation, I went and clocked it when we lost at Virginia by 1. think he went 17 minutes without a shot. Now, that's on him, too, not just the team, you know. And so now there's obviously less possessions in those games. But I think that evolution, I think, you know, playing some point, you know, being a little bit more of a distributor, but not getting away from being a scorer because we need him to score.
Steve Forbes, Wake Forest head men's basketball coach. I'm sure you've heard this about your team last year and in recent years a bunch, which is you're fantastic at home. And we have the stats, right? 17 wins last year at home, 21 wins overall. Since the 2021-22 season, you're second in the country in home wins.
Yeah.
Do you take training camp to like local high schools to just get used to different gyms? Is there a way you can?
I don't know.
Is there a way you can work on just traveling better?
It's a good question. I mean, I've had some, you know, you start thinking about all of those kind of things, right? When you go through.
I'm an overthinker by nature, so I'm gonna try it all.
I'm a routine guy, okay, and I've coached a lot of most places where we've had no trouble winning on the road, and so I haven't really bought into that. Maybe with this team we'll do some different things, but I think it's more just your mentality and then toughness down the stretch in those games. Look, it's one thing to go get beat on the road and get blown out, but when all these games are coming down to the last 2 or 3 possessions, you have to play the right way. You have to have the perfect defensive possession and offensive possession. And I think if you just look at the numbers, my teams the last 3 years are outstanding offensively, can really score. But you can't just outscore your opponent all the time. You have to defend, and especially at the right time of the game. And so I'm hoping that, you know, them growing up a little bit more will have something to do with that. Plus, I think, as you'll see with our team, we're just a lot more athletic than we have been, and that helps defensively.
I did see 3 former 5-star high school recruits on your roster this year. I believe 6 in the history of Wake Forest. So 50% of them are on the team right now.
Well, you know, I get those McDonald's All-Americans for Happy Meals. You know, they go for Big Mac. I get them for a Happy Meal, you know.
Second try, third try is a charm.
Yeah, you know, just you know, they sometimes you just don't go to the right place. You know, it's not disrespect to the programs they were at. It's just one of those things where, you know, it just didn't work out. And so, you know, Omaha Blue's a good guy. I mean, he's like Hunter, you know, and he's got a chance to be a really good player, and he's young. He's only a sophomore, and so excited to have him on the team.
Steve, we appreciate you for taking the time.
Always a pleasure.
Once again, Steve Forbes, Wake Forest head basketball coach from earlier today. Like I said, kind of Mr. Congeniality. Everybody likes talking to him, and he's bouncing around, and everyone's having a good time.
Steve's awesome.
Right now, however, bouncing our way in the immediate future will be Pat Kelsey, the head coach of Louisville, is walking right up. He's going to throw the headset on, and we're going to be good to go here. Coach, thank you very much for taking the time. Let's go ahead and turn your microphone on. There we go. Now we're ready to roll.
How you guys doing?
We're doing well. I do have to give a hat tip to your player, Chucky Hepburn. Tipped us off you're a big Bengals fan.
Yes, sir.
So we'll start with Sunday night versus the Giants. How are we thinking Burrow and the boys are going to do?
Well, we've really struggled out of the gate. We were a Super Bowl hopeful to start the season.
Some people sitting in a chair over here may have picked them to or picked Burrow to be the MVP.
I know.
So
he still might be. I mean, that cat is killing. He had 5 touchdowns, 500 yards the other day. We lost to the Patriots. Bad loss. Lost at Kansas City. That's a tough place to play. And then beat the Panthers, then lost to Washington, and then lost a heartbreaker the other day. So here we are, 1-4.
All right, so I'll give you your fan bona fides card. There's a little proving it there, running through the entire schedule. I liked it.
You want to talk about the Reds and Bengals? I can talk about it forever. We just got Terry Francona with the Reds, by the way.
Look at that. Actually, you know what? That's interesting because a lot of times I think coaches maybe don't relate to fans as much, like the living and dying with something you can't control because coaches always want to control. Does being such a big Reds fan or being such a big Bengals fan maybe set you up better to understand the message boards or the Twitter that come with the diehard Louisville fans?
100,000%. At 100,000%. First of all, I don't read fanbirds and I don't read social media comments.
And maybe that's why, because the Bengals ones.
But you know, fan is fanatic. I'm a fanatic of the Cincinnati Reds and Bengals. I am completely, nuts out of my mind. And when the Reds are on a 4-game losing streak, I'm losing my mind. So I 100% get it. But in the coaching world, obviously, there's ups and downs. There's goods or bad. Hey, Brad, how are you, buddy? Good seeing you, man. There's goods, there's bads, there's ups, there's downs, there's wins, there's losses. It's important for a coach to steady the ship. Look, you guys are down in Raleigh. The job Kevin did last year with his team at NC State, amazing, perfect example of that. Weathered the storm and got the ship righted, and had them rolling going into the tournament. Killed it, became the story of college basketball, and went to a stinking Final Four. So that'll be a story that I'll talk about in coaching for a long, long time.
Perfect transition there. Head coach Pat Kelsey of Louisville joining us here. Our area, especially the state fans, are still thirsting for every DJ Burns story they can get from that run. You coached him at Winthrop. This is pre-transfer, pre-taking over and being a national star and a national story. Can you give us a couple good DJ Burns stories from his time at Winthrop?
Oh, man. First of all, I love the kid. He's got a special heart. His personality, his smile lights up a room. He is special. Great parents, unbelievable mom and dad. His mom texts me from time to time, a lot during the tournament run too, and she's so she's so nice, and she would say, Coach, look what we did. You've had a hand in this just to make me feel good. That's the type of people that they are. But holy cow, man, I probably have a lot of DJ stories, a couple I probably don't want to tell you. But it did take us about a month to convince him that gravy wasn't a beverage. But no, I just remember, he got in phenomenal shape. I thought our strength coach did an unbelievable job with him. And then I kind of saw him, at the beginning of the season at NC State. And I'm like, gosh, DJ, what happened? And then he went out and set the college basketball world on fire. So what the heck do I know? But
he had to play his way into shape a little bit.
He just, as you know, has an unbelievable basketball IQ and acumen, and one of the most potent post scorers and passers that there's been in college basketball for a long time.
While we're doing the storytelling thing, I'll just go to the next one, and hopefully you can help us out. Roughly 10 years at Wake, that overlapped as a staffer and as an assistant coach. Chris Paul's there. Do you have any good Chris Paul stories that maybe someone from the outside wouldn't know?
I mean, one thing I remember, he's got unbelievable parents too. Charles and Robin are phenomenal. And, I just remember his freshman year, he got done with a workout like this time of year. It was probably in September, and he had to run out of the gym real quick. And coach was like, Chris, where are you going? He goes, I got to go cut the grass. Because his family's from Winston-Salem. It was his job to still cut the grass since he was living on. I thought that was kind of funny.
I was saying, when he was like an All-American, was he still cutting the grass? Or
I don't know that.
Did that stop?
We used to play like 1-on-1 and 2-on-2.
Mm-hmm.
Chris has told this story several times, like in interviews and things like that. Coach Prosser, the head coach, ended up shutting him down because he's really, really competitive. I'm really, really competitive. And it started to get a little ugly. And he was like, Skip was like, if Chris gets hurt, you're fired. just so you know.
And if we lose, you're also fired, right? So
yeah.
Mix it up. Pat Kelsey, head coach, Louisville, joining us. Let's look at Louisville. 12 incoming transfers. I'm going to run down it for you. You know it, but just so everybody else is aware. 2 from BYU, 1 from Georgia, 1 from Wisconsin, 1 from USF, 3 followed you from Charleston, 1 from Long Beach State, 1 from Colorado, 1 from JMU, and 1 from Washington. Did you have enough time to watch every game in the entire country looking for the guys you wanted?
It was a blur of the first 2 months, that's
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Somebody asked me about the first 30 days, and I was like, I can't even remember. But no, it was great how all the pieces came together. Our team, our staff worked very, very hard. We're excited about the makeup of our group and the direction of our team.
Was that the plan when you took the job, to kind of completely revamp the roster
Not
from
really.
the jump?
There was some potential of some guys staying and things like that. It just didn't work out that way. So, we're excited where our team's at.
The James Scott, Kobe Rogers, and Rain Smith, the ones that followed you from Charleston, what was it about those guys that made you reach back and bring them along? Because, there's, as with most coaching changes, a lot of guys left Charleston,
right,
and those were the 3 that ended up with you at Louisville.
Yep. One of them's redshirting, Kobe Rogers, who's recovering from a knee surgery, but all 3 of them, Kobe, Rain, and James, first of all, they're all really good players.
Mm-hmm.
James is a 6'11" sophomore, I think, with huge upside potential. Rain Smith is, I think, one of the better shooters, pure shooters in college basketball. Kobe is just a phenomenal all-around player, and he'll be eligible next year. But it was a huge advantage for those guys to be with me as well to help implement our system and our culture, because they know it so well. They know it like the back of their hand. So it was almost like you had some returning players in that, they could finish my sentences and help guys get up to speed with what we do and how we do it.
Do you almost have to build in like a ramping up of expectations with that many new guys learning the new school, learning each other? Because, 12 new guys is 12 new guys, regardless of whether a few of them come from the same spot or not.
Yeah, it's a process, but we've been able to train all summer. We went on a foreign tour at the beginning of August, which allowed us to have 10 additional days of practice. You kind of work, you train year round now in college basketball. Mm-hmm. So I think from the very beginning, there was great cohesiveness and connectivity with our group, and it allowed us to come together pretty quickly. And I like the spot that we're in.
Those foreign trips, you were in the Bahamas?
Yeah.
Was like the team building aspect. Seems like you get distracted by the beaches and stuff, right? Like, how much time are you spending, getting to know each other rather than riding waves?
Well, it's a quick trip, right? Because you can get right over there and get back. But part of it was basketball, us growing in our team, playing some teams, working on how we prepare, all that. But then it was also a time where guys could spend time together and grow our cohesiveness and work on our chemistry, and that was it. We were able to do that as well.
It's Pat Kelsey, head coach of Louisville. Coach, thank you for taking the time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Once again, the head coach of, as I said, Louisville, making his debut for Louisville this year after taking over the program as the Charleston coach a season ago. A lot of success at Charleston, a lot of success at a lot of steps along the way, and a little Chris Paul, DJ Burns story time as well.
I forgot that he spent time with Wake.
He was at Wake for almost 10 years.
Yeah, under Prosser.
As a staffer and then as an assistant coach. So, he's got a little knowledge of the ACC. Not completely new. With a little bit of time here we have before the break, we need to get our ladder challenge settled out. We hit last night. It was on, what was it, the Dodgers plus 4, and they won by 8.
They won 8-0.
They won 8-0. So
nailed it.
No stress win there. We are now up to $12 and something change that we are
$12.17
rolling over. We're hoping to find the benefits of like compound interest, where we just keep rolling over the winnings, and then at the end of the month, hopefully we'll have a fat stack of cash. Part of the ladder challenge. Day number 3 coming up. Dennis, what are the options?
Okay, I'm actually going to give you 5 options here, Tim.
All right.
Thursday Night Football. We have Seahawks, Niners. Niners plus 9. Alternate spread, Niners plus 9 at minus 840.
Okay.
Next one, Geno Smith, quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. 175 plus passing yards.
Okay.
That's right at minus 1,000. That's right in the range we're looking for. Also, tonight, the St. Louis Blues take on the San Jose Sharks in the NHL. Blues, alternate spread line, plus 2.5 goals. That's a minus 1,000 as well.
All right.
Kansas City Royals take on the New York Yankees today. Pivotal game 5. Winner goes on to the ALCS. Alternate spread, Royals plus 5.5 runs. That's a minus 1040. And then the final one, Royals and Yankees each score 1 run. That is a minus 900. So 5 options for you.
Interesting. I'm going to talk this out real quick. Niners plus 9. I actually, the Niners have not been as dominant as I would like them to be up to this point.
They blew that lead against the Cardinals last week.
They have quite a few injuries. Christian McCaffrey still hasn't played. Hufanga just went, their stud safety just went on the, I believe the IR. So I'm going to stay away from that. That could lead me towards Geno Smith 175 plus passing yards, because if I'm not loving what the Niners have, they're still obviously wildly talented, but Geno's been slinging the rock. Blues plus 2.5 goals, I like. 2.5 is just so much in hockey.
It really is. and the San Jose Sharks are a really young team, but their roster, they're the start of a rebuild, and that's their first game of the year. And St. Louis has already played a game.
Royals plus 5.5. Again, that's a big number. and that's a desperation game in a bunch
both teams.
in a bunch of ways. So you would expect it to be lower scoring with 5.5 is a lot in baseball. These are all pretty, and then Royals and Yankees each to score 1 run. I mean, I don't see how they don't. They're so good. So I got 4 legit options here.
Okay.
I think I'm feeling the Blues plus 2.5 goals.
Okay. All right.
Partially because of how I feel about the Blues and partially because of how I feel about San Jose.
Okay.
And then also just 2.5 is a lot in hockey. So we'll go with the regular season, early season hockey game. Blues plus 2.5 goals. We'll roll over the full $12 and change that we have on our ladder challenge. And tomorrow we'll do it again after that one hits.
Okay.
And for those of you tracking and letting me know,
lock this in.
For those of you tracking and letting me know on Twitter when these bets hit, I appreciate it. It's like my own little notifications when they look good.
The first one we hit was Brad Marchand of the Boston Bruins getting 1 shot on goal.
He had 2 in like the first period.
Yeah, no, it's like, let's go.
Glorious.
This was easy. And then yesterday we had the Dodgers plus 4, and they won 8-0.
Loved it. Loved it from the very
beginning.
Totally
crushed it.
So hopefully we have as no stress of a victory here with the Blues plus 2.5 goals against San Jose. With that being said,
I'm feeling good about this, by the way.
You're feeling good about it.
Feeling good. Plus
Feeling
2.5
good,
goals.
great.
Like you said, it's a lot.
It is. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Efton Reid, the 7-foot big man for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, who for the first time since his sophomore and junior year of high school is at the same school for 2 consecutive years, same coach as he goes into his 4th year of college basketball. Efton Reid joins the show next. Stick around.
Oh, this is going to be fun, isn't it? Oh, yeah.
Wow. Martinuk pulling Barkov away. You know, Pyotr Kochetkov's not afraid to mix it up.
Vinny Veazey knocking Natchez to the ice. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Veazey and Kotkaniemi.
A chance for the Rangers coming in. Anderson makes a save, and it's kept out by Martinuk. What a save! Martinuk just robbed Lindgren.
The season kicks off October 11th on your official home of the Carolina Hurricanes. 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Is your heating and air system ready for cooler weather? Call Newcomb & Company today to schedule a routine maintenance and ensure your system is operating at peak performance. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs for HVAC and plumbing work. Newcomb & Company has served the area as a Carrier Factory authorized dealer for more than 3 generations. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company and Carrier. Your comfort is our business.
The final shot at the Championship 4 comes down to a track that's been here from day one. Martinsville. NASCAR Playoffs weekend at Martinsville Speedway. November 1st through the 3rd. Get your tickets now at martinsvillespeedway.com.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2024, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-652-1714. That's 800-652-1714. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-652-1714 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary. Paid for by AMD Financial.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are now joined by the leading returning rebounder and blocks guy for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, Efton Reid. Efton, we're going to start a little different here. So I was on your Instagram talking about your McDonald's order.
Yeah.
We were just talking. So I'm assuming that was some kind of NIL deal.
Yeah, it was.
We were just talking with your head coach. Did you know he used to work at McDonald's?
No, I did not. That's crazy.
He claims to be, or he didn't claim to, but he said he's probably the only coach that has both worked at McDonald's and signed a McDonald's All-American. And I guess we should have brought up you because you're doing some work with McDonald's and also a former 5-star. So you guys have some connections there.
Exactly.
Which is part of this whole relationship building deal.
Yeah.
Looking up your history, first time since your sophomore and junior year of high school, I believe that you're at the same school 2 consecutive years.
Exactly. Yep.
I'll ask this question 2 times. The first one from a relationship standpoint, what does that do for you with your coaches and your teammates?
I mean, the reason why I transferred 2 times, I mean, my coach got fired at LSU and then at Gonzaga. I mean, I loved it out there, but my mom needed some help, medically. So I transferred back. And I mean, in the process, Forbes was really, not one of the older coaches, but I felt like he was being real and genuine with me. And he, I explained to him my situation and, he said, we're going to take you with the waiver or without the waiver. So, I mean, I'm just so blessed he gave me this opportunity. I'm grateful, honestly, because he knew what I was going through and, I need to get back to Richmond when I need to. And he let me do that. So, I mean, that's why I came here. It wasn't really the basketball piece with Forbes, it was about the relationship piece and about the family aspect. And that's really why I came to Wake Forest, because it was just a family aspect and a family feel in the environment. And I'm used to that. I'm a big family guy with my family. So I just clicked right in with Forbes when I visit and stuff. So,
and then the second way I'm going to ask that question is the basketball, which is you brought up the waiver. Last year, you weren't even sure if you were going to play.
Yeah,
then you weren't playing.
Yeah.
Then you were playing.
Yeah.
Then it was touch and go.
Yeah, it was.
So this year, basketball-wise, a normal offseason, a normal season, the same system. What does that do for unlocking your talent?
I mean, it does everything for me. I mean, I'm comfortable with the system. I know, the schemes. I know the plays. And I know everything. I know how we play. I know we like to get up and down. So, I mean, it just helps me tremendously with my process and my improvement and just going to, unlock my game even more to the next level. So, yeah.
We're talking with Wake Forest 7-footer Efton Reid. Looking at your stats last year, the points, rebounds, assists, those are all great.
Yeah.
There was one that maybe added up a little too much, fouls.
Yep. Forbes were talking about it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that something you can work on, or back in the, I don't know, the Roy Hibbert verticality thing?
Yeah.
Like, are you doing drills?
Yeah,
like,
I am.
What's the move?
I mean, basically, it's just me being smarter and me being, knowing where I'm at on the floor and then, saving these guys, protecting the rim. That's my job. So I really don't look at it as a negative for me, but I do feel like it's an area I need to improve on, which I have been working on in practice and stuff. So, I mean, I'm ready this year. So that's my job to protect the rim. So, I mean, sometimes the calls are questionable, but, hey, it's my job. That's what I signed up for. So
how tempting is it as a 7-footer athletic to – like, I would want to put every shot 6 rows into the stands.
Exactly.
And I want a volleyball spike.
Yeah, exactly.
But how do you not maybe follow through with the full swing?
You got to be patient, man. You got to be patient, and you got to know your personnel, and you got to know time to score too as well. So, I mean, if it's the game's close and, you go up vertical and you alter a shot, I mean, not blocking shots, not only blocking, it's altering shots at the rim too as well. So, I mean, that's much as a win if I'm blocking a shot or if I alter the shot in the game. So, I mean, I count that as a win too. So.
We were looking at the stats. We were talking about this with your coach as well.
Yeah.
Home versus road.
Yeah.
And it's last year, 17 wins at home, 21 overall.
Yeah.
But it goes back even prior to your time at Wake Forest. How do you make sure your game goes on the road a little bit better as a team?
I mean, in the SEC, the road is crazy. So, I mean, that's really prepared me for the ACC road. So, I mean, ain't nothing like the SEC road. It's crazy. It's unreal.
What do you mean by that? Like environments?
Yeah, the environment is crazy. So, I mean, playing like that in my freshman year, I'm prepared for anything. So when I go on the road, I just tell the guys to lock in and, we'll beat of course, everybody's against us. It's a away game. So I think it's more mentally than physical.
You comparing the SEC to the ACC is going to perk up some ears here. How is the road in the SEC, different, harder, whatever it is than the ACC?
Yeah. I mean, I was a freshman, so I didn't really know what to expect. I was a freshman, So, I mean, I'm playing on the road. You playing out in sold out crowds. You're like, whoa, this is different than high school. High school, you might have a couple thousand, but on the road, it's what, 19, 20?
Packed arena,
Exactly. So it's way different. I mean, it's the same way in the ACC. I mean, ACC is packed too. So, I mean, when you look around the crowd, like, wow, there's really a lot of people in here. But as a freshman, it prepared me for, you know, what I've gone through and what I played through on the road. So, I mean, that's what it is.
Efton Reid, senior big man for Wake Forest, connecting with us here at ACC Tipoff in Charlotte. 3 guys here for your team. It's you, Hunter Salas, Cameron Hildreth.
Yep.
We've talked about you 3 with Coach Forbes.
Yeah.
What about Parker Friedrichsen?
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing him as the kind of, you know, all the Wake Forest previews. It's this big 3 and then potential breakout in Parker.
Yeah.
What about his game are we excited to see this year?
He can shoot the heck out of the ball. Like, it's almost crazy. I mean, he'd be going 50% in practice from threes, and it's all contested too. So it's insane, and I'm excited to see his growth. I mean, from last year, this year, he's gained some weight. He's smarter. He has more IQ, and he can shoot the piss out the ball. And he can also, you know, defend too, so as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing his improvement on the court.
The other thing that I noticed when I was looking up the roster is yourself, along with Hunter Salas and Omaha Blue, are 3 former 5-star recruits coming out of high school. Prior to you 3 arriving on campus, there had been 3 5-star high school recruits in Wake Forest history.
Wow.
That's Al-Farouq Aminu, who Wake Forest fans know, Chris Paul, who everybody knows, and Jalen Horde, who's another one that Wake Forest fans will know. Why is Wake suddenly the choice for all of these massive high school recruits when they are looking for their next second or third go in the transfer portal?
I mean, they be calling Forbes the portal whisperer. I mean, I guess that's what he is. I mean, he's all about family. He has a certain standard to his life, and I mean, everybody likes it about him, how he's so outgoing, so direct. Because a lot of people out here are not direct, and Forbes, you know, he's direct, and he'll let you know. So the same thing I saw in the visit, the same thing is in practice and when I'm around him and stuff. So I mean, we're making history, and it's time, you know.
Do you sense the talent level? Because you're an IMG guy. You played your last year of high school at IMG, which is always every sport's going to be loaded with talent. LSU, I think it was the 7th or 8th highest ranked recruiting class in the country that you were a part of. Now you're here with these other big high school recruits. Can you tell it's a lot of those stars, it's the measurables. It's height, weight, strength, shooting. Do you notice a jump up in kind of talent, Wake?
I mean, from last year, we're more athletic, we're more longer, and we both we're more, you know, we go harder. We have a bigger motor. So I mean, that's going to help us a lot too. But at the end of the day, it's about Forbes teaching us the fundamentals and the game plan, and you know, that's going to help us boost up the game plan. So of course it helps. Of course.
There it is. Efton Reid, we'll leave it with that. Appreciate you for taking the time. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Efton Reid, Wake Forest big man from earlier today here at ACC Tipoff in Charlotte. We're now live back here at ACC Tipoff in Charlotte, and to be quite frank, the action's slowing down a little bit here, but it's a bittersweet slowing down of the energy and excitement that has been going on for the last few days, because as ACC Tipoff winds down, you start to know, well, the next time we see all of these guys, they're going to be playing in real basketball games, and or at least exhibition games, and that's the real exciting part here. You know, I said this yesterday when we started our first show here at ACC Tipoff. There's always one, and what I mean by that is there's always one person who we're aware of, we know of, but at this event, it's surprising how much attention they draw. We've talked about DJ Burns last year. We talked about Riley Leonard 2 ACC kickoffs ago. Cade Klubnik, the quarterback of Clemson, I think was that way at this most recent ACC kickoff. I think Efton Reid might be that guy this year.
Yeah.
First of all, he's a physical presence, but so is DJ Burns. Efton Reid is they call him footers. He is a legit 7-footer, at least by my estimation. Not like I have a lot of experience judging 7-footers, but I am a 6'3" 7/8 inch individual, and when I stand up, I was looking up at him like I was 5'10".
As someone who's 5'10", I get it.
so Efton Reid, and then part of it was his command and his comfortability, and I think part of it stems from the fact that he was a 5-star recruit. He was one of the best guys in the country coming out of high school. He did go to LSU under their previous coach, Will Wade, who put together a top 10 recruiting class. He was at Gonzaga, where there's going to be other stars, and bringing. Coach Kevin Keats is making his way on over to our table.
We haven't talked to him since the Canes Cup run.
We haven't talked to him since the Canes Cup run. Coach is in a good mood joining us here, and for good reason. This is the defending ACC champion head coach at the ensuing ACC tip-off. So, the smile is well earned. Coach, I'm going to start maybe something you haven't been asked yet today.
Yeah.
I heard you weren't very good at ping pong.
I'm the best.
And it's like that, huh?
Yeah, I spent 12 years at Hargrave. And if you've ever been to Hargrave, it's in Chatham, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know, there's not a lot to do in Chatham, Virginia. And so I spent a lot of time in the basement. I'm very picky about who I play. You have to beat somebody good before I play you. And it gives me a chance to get a scouting report on you. I know how to look at
you got to watch
report.
them in AAA. Well, sorry about that. That was a little sneak peek of our conversation with Kevin Keats from yesterday. We were having a little connection issues here from Charlotte. So now we're back and we're going to continue. I don't know where you lost me there.
Yeah.
So we'll have to go over this again maybe next week. But the long story short of it is I think Efton Reid might be one of the guys who I expect to take a jump just based on how they carried themselves and their presence here at ACC Tipoff. We've seen other athletes have similar kind of, moments where they look the part, act the part, feel the part at an event like this, and then they go on to play the part that upcoming season. So Efton Reid, big man for Wake Forest, one of them that I'm keeping my eye on. In the meantime, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending, and of course that includes Gordon Miller. If you're back in the Triangle, this is good to know, right? Since we're here in Charlotte, if you're back in the Triangle, locally owned Miller Lending. Their business, Gordon Miller, they chose to headquarter it in Cary, which means the people you're going to be talking to understand the housing market in our area, understand the things you're looking for, understand also sometimes you just want to talk to somebody, right? Face to face. You can drive out to Cary. It doesn't all have to be on the phone. I'm going to give you the phone number here in a couple of seconds. But if you want to go talk face to face, give them a call, say, hey, when can you see me? It's right out there in Cary. And then the questions you're going to want to ask are about their no closing cost loans. The questions you're going to want to ask are going to be about how you can be prepared for the rising and falling interest rates that are going to be volatile, especially in an election year that nobody can predict. If it's in your room of things to do, talking about maybe refinancing, looking for a new house, setting up a mortgage, at the top of your things to do list should be calling Miller Lending. And of course, that includes Gordon Miller. The number to call is 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that is millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we have the starting five, including Joel Berry, national champion point guard from UNC, who's now moved his way into the media, gives us his pick for who's going to win the Atlantic Coast Conference this year. It's coming up.
Football is on the menu tonight.
Showtime, prime time.
And we're delivering some fresh NFC action.
Here we go. Woo!
It's San Francisco and Seattle. Pre-game starts at 7:30. Kickoff at 8:15.
Y'all know what time it is, huh?
The NFL on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med.
Hey, together, baby. We just do it one play at a time.
99.9 The Fan, the Triangle sports leader.
We came here for one thing, to win.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $200 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's Bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's Bow time.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
She heard an ad for My Computer Career and jumped in feet first.
Taking exams and getting certified in a matter of just months.
Even better, you can work from anywhere.
Wherever you are. If you're on vacation, you can still clock in. I work out of my house in my pajamas.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them.
Launch a new high-demand career in IT or level up with more certifications. Build a career in record time with less money.
I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone. Indeed, it was the right move for me.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. We had a cooler and breezy day. That wind, partially due to Milton, that's moving off the Florida coast. Clear and cooler tonight, 46 the low. Tomorrow, sunshine, cool again. The high hovers around 70.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones closes the day down 57 points at 42,454. Market update is brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is ACC Tipoff coverage. We are live here in Charlotte, as you probably just heard by me smacking into my microphone there. So it is live. Wouldn't do that if it was recorded.
It happens.
But it is time for the starting five. Let's start with number 5.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The Carolina Hurricanes open their season tomorrow.
Yeah, they do.
I do feel like
26 hours, folks.
We've had a glorious distraction because the 2 and 3 days before a season starts are brutal. You're just waiting. There's no real news. It's just a lot of like, how many hours now? 76. How many hours now? 7:55 and 55 minutes. How many hours now? So we've had a lovely distraction here at ACC Tipoff, but tomorrow it's full steam ahead.
Especially since we're seeing games haven't already started this week and across the NHL. I mean, gosh, there's teams are going to be playing their second game today. Like the Pittsburgh Penguins played last night against the New York Rangers, got smacked, and they're back playing again tonight. It's like, wait, they've played twice already. We haven't even played yet.
And to just update on the schedule, the NHL has postponed the Canes Saturday game, which was scheduled to be in Tampa against the Lightning. Due to the ongoing recovery efforts in the wake of Hurricane Milton, a makeup date will be announced at a later time. So there was talk about playing it, Saturday early or Sunday early in Raleigh because the two teams are playing each other tomorrow. But the NHL has decided just to postpone the Saturday game entirely and schedule a makeup date at a later time. So when something like Hurricane Milton happens, you make the best decision you can and you make it work because they have to deal with bigger and more important things in Tampa.
And Tampa's set to play at home on Tuesday and Thursday as well against teams traveling from the West Coast like Vancouver and Vegas. So
logistical nightmare.
Logistical things. I'm actually curious because Lenovo Center is available on both Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Since they're already in Raleigh, like they're staying in Chapel Hill, like do they just play there?
Make this their temporary home for a week or two?
It's possible.
We'll see. And the NHL has to weigh all those, and the Lightning have to weigh all those decisions. But what we can tell you is tomorrow's game should be on as scheduled.
Yep.
The season opener between the Lightning and the Canes at the Lenovo Center. And then Saturday's game is postponed, and not postponed like a couple hours, postponed until a makeup date will be announced at a later time. So the Canes will start their season tomorrow.
Yeah, we will.
And then it'll be a handful of days until you get to game 2. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 all together.
Here at ACC Tipoff, a couple of ACC legends retiring from the NBA.
That's right.
Ish Smith from Wake Forest, and then a long NBA career, and Danny Green from UNC, a true legend at UNC, and then a long NBA career featuring multiple NBA championships, both retiring over the last 48 hours. Danny Green announcing today. I think Ish Smith yesterday we learned of his retirement. There is not enough appreciation for, and I say this knowing there is appreciation for it, but not enough for like the 12+ year NBA career.
Yeah.
It's hard just to stay around simply because there's not that many roster spots. And every year there's an entire draft of guys and undrafted free agents coming for those jobs. So the fact that Danny Green and Ish Smith just lasted as long as they did, had the highs that they had, both had, better seasons than others, and some huge team success and some other accolades. But to me, the longevity of it in the NBA is wildly impressive.
I mean, like talking about Danny Green, 15-year career and multiple NBA rings. Like he's got rings. Like he's phenomenal career. I know he wasn't like the quote unquote like star, megastar, but man, a lot of guys would love to have his career.
Be a star in your role. I'll put it this way about guys like Danny Green and Ish Smith. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and Deshaun Jackson, the football player, was making the argument that every athlete makes, that he could have played in the NBA. And Lou Williams was on the pod. And Deshaun Jackson goes, I don't know, man. If Jeff Teague could play in the NBA for that long, I know I could have. And Lou Williams just said, not if your example is Jeff Teague.
Yeah.
Because basically saying, like, Jeff Teague played in this league a long time.
Yeah.
Jeff Teague was a star, and he would, you can't say it the way that it was said on the pod. They don't have to deal with radio rules. But bust your behind is what he said Jeff Teague would do. And Danny Green and Ish Smith, to me, fall in that category of, the casual fan might look at him and say, oh, man, if they could do it, or I think I could play with guys like, they would bust your behind.
Oh, yeah.
Go back and look at the dunk on Duke that Danny Green had during his time at UNC, and then recognize that would be every time down the court if any of us average Joes playing basketball would be out there with those guys. Danny Green, one of the things I really like about his career is he won back-to-back titles on different teams, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
He Chris Longed it. Chris Long did the same thing in the NFL. Ish Smith, he's going to be remembered for this stat, 13 different teams. He played in the NBA for 13 different NBA teams.
Played here with the Hornets for a bit too.
That is absurd. And also probably goes to, and he was part of a billion trades. Like he was just always someone, I feel like he's always the guy that gets the trade done. It's like, you know what, fine, we'll do it, but you got to throw in Ish Smith.
Yeah.
And all right, fine. Because he's worthy of a roster spot.
He was a reliable backup point guard, which is every team wants to have in the rotation that you can count on. If your point guard gets hurt, you can throw him in there to spot start or just to play 18, 20 minutes a night.
And Danny Green was a reliable shooter.
Yeah.
Everybody wants those, right? It's like a lefty reliever or an edge rusher. Backup point guards and shooters. Lefty relievers. Let's get to number 3. I'll give you one guess on who's going to play in the NLCS.
Congrats to you, sir.
The New York Mets How about them Mets?
Look at you.
Look at me. Look at me.
you.
Who would have thought we'd be here?
You did.
And when you're 11. Actually, the second half of the season, they've been very good.
They've
So
been
I
awesome.
have been raising my expectations.
Grimace.
There was
From
a point.
McDonald's.
There was a point in time where I was not as confident. But either way, the Mets are going to the NLCS. The Major League Baseball playoffs are truly in swing. There's a potential ender going to start here in about an hour with the Guardians and the Tigers. Detroit leads that series 2-1. If they win, they'll advance. The Yankees and the Royals, again, New York Yankees lead that series 2-1. So if the Yankees win, they will advance to the ALCS. And then tomorrow, I believe, we'll settle the end of the NLDS between the Padres and the Dodgers. It's tied 2-2. The winner of tomorrow's game will advance to play the Mets, which means the Mets are just getting more fresh. They're saving the bullpen. They're going to watch the Padres and the Dodgers just absolutely exhaust themselves tomorrow. And then in the NLCS, they'll just be waiting there. It's all coming up Mets. This is a trick for those of you that are fans of teams that are entering into a tournament and maybe you aren't the most confident in them.
Okay.
Be absurdly over the top confident with them before the tournament. That way, as it goes along, you never start jinxing them.
That's true.
That's what I did with the Mets. I picked them to win the whole thing. I was absurdly confident in them. You just say when they win, when they win, when they win. Now we're getting here. It's getting to the point where I'm actually my brain and my heart are both believing it now, not just my heart. And I don't have to tamper that down and pretend, right? Because that's what you normally have to. Oh, I don't want to jinx it, but I think they're actually looking good now. I like the matchup from the very beginning. I've just been overloading with confidence, so now I have to keep it rolling, and I love where the Mets are.
Good for you.
I mean, I loved the matchup against the Phillies. They backed me up. Appreciate it. Now it's thank you, Francisco Lindor. Now it's time to do the same against either the Padres or the Dodgers. But it's been a fun playoffs. I think even if you're not a Mets fan, it's been a fun playoffs. There's been exciting finishes and some meaningful games between teams that don't like each other. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us.
Panthers updates. Dennis, as the host of Panthers Playbook, what's going on today for the Panthers?
Just a normal day of practice. A couple guys that were limited in practice. For example, Ike Ekwonu, limited in practice today, even though he was a full participant yesterday as well. A couple other guys that were limited today. Deontay Johnson with that ankle injury, been kind of battling it, but he's
maintenance.
Mostly maintenance. And we also know that guys that aren't going to be in there, like Josie Jewell's not going to be playing. Taylor Moton's not going to be playing. Tommy Tremble is in concussion protocol. So, I mean, honestly.
You haven't said the two names that I am most worried about.
Oh, Jadeveon Clowney.
And A'Shawn Robinson.
A'Shawn Robinson. A'Shawn Robinson with a knee.
Robinson with an ankle.
I'm sorry. Oh, he's ankle. Yeah,
and
I know.
Clowney with the shoulder.
I know Robinson had been battling a knee injury as well.
I just know on today's injury report he was listed as an ankle.
Lower body.
There is a position of weakness for the Carolina Panthers on the defensive front, the defensive line.
You mean the defense?
Yes, but even amongst the defense, at least there's J.C. Horn having a decent year. At least there's I don't know where they go if Clowney and Robinson can't play. And that's not to say I don't know the names. Like I have an idea of some of the names that would be taking those. I don't know how Evero, the defensive coordinator, would be able to try to hide that, right? There's only so much you can do with smoke and mirrors and exotic blitzes and corner blitzes before it just becomes too much. Jadeveon Clowney has not been otherworldly this year.
No, far from it.
But I still think he's been their best edge rusher just because, part of that's by default. So, just because he hasn't been up to his standards doesn't mean you can afford to lose him. If he and A'Shawn Robinson both don't play in this one, watch out.
Tomorrow will be the most telling. They will most likely have to participate in practice in some way, shape, or form tomorrow.
And yesterday, Jadeveon Clowney didn't practice, and I didn't care at all. He is a veteran. Wednesday, vet day, don't do it. When you start missing days back-to-back, when you're missing them later in the week, is when my antennas go up to actually you might actually, it wasn't rest, was it? You might actually have something that you're working on. So just keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the defensive front for the Panthers. Other than that, basically what Dennis was saying is my view as well, which is, guys are, it's a middle of an NFL season. You're going to have some owies. And if you have to be limited at a few practices, I'm not going to write any long stories about it. That's number 2. Let's set up number 1 here. Number 1 on the starting 5 is our conversation with Joel Berry, former UNC point guard. He stopped by our booth here, our table here at ACC Tipoff earlier today. We asked him everything from how his UNC team looks this year to who he thinks is going to win the ACC championship at the end of the year. Joel Berry, right here, right now. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are now joined by Joel Berry here at ACC Tipoff in Charlotte, former UNC point guard, national champion, most outstanding player of the Final Four, currently doing some doing analyst work for the ACC network. Joel, thank you for stopping by here at ACC Tipoff.
Yeah.
We'll start with your old squad, your old position. What is there left for RJ Davis to do? Like he returned. Is there something? Speaking individually, obviously team goals, but speaking individually, is there anything he can still prove?
It's hard. I think the only thing that tops what he does is by winning a national championship. I think that's the only thing that you can do at this point. You ACC Player of the Year, you got your jersey in the rafters. So just like me, now that I bring my kids back, I'm always looking in the rafter like, sometimes you look like, dad might be a little lame, but I'm in the rafters. So he'll always have that. But I think most importantly is looking on the other side and seeing a national championship banner. And they were right there. And he spoke about it. We already talked to him this morning. And that's his one thing is he wants to win the national championship. So I just think looking at his career and what he's done, that's really the only thing that can top it.
So sometimes guys are reluctant to kind of put national championship as the main and maybe only goal. But when you have done darn near everything and you come back for one more year, is it championship or is it national championship or bust for this UNC team?
I just think with the talent, when you look at what's on your team, and I think you kind of get that sense of like, this is a team that can do that. You got a good group of core guys coming back, and Elliott and RJ. Jalen Washington has been there for a while. Jalen Withers has been in the program. So the retention is there along with the balance of having the young guys come in and with some good transfer portal guys as well. So I think they have the team to be able to do it. And I just think when you look at your career, everyone has individual accolades at some point. I mean, you're at North Carolina. You have some individual accolade at some point, but when you look back on it, you think about the times of making the run where all the great moments to be able to win the national championship. So I will say I thought it was I think it's a little weird. I thought he would take the Jeremy Roach route where I've done everything that I can here at Carolina. We were right there halftime away from winning a national championship. I'm, I got my jersey in the rafters, this, that, and the third. What more can I do? Let me go see what I can get NIL-wise.
We're talking with Joel Berry, ACC network analyst. I thought this was interesting, and you'll appreciate it. The last time UNC played a game without Armando Bacot on the roster, your old teammate Luke May scored 13 points in that game. So
that is crazy.
It's been a while. It's been a while. How do they adjust, or where will we notice the absence of a player that's been there for so long in Armando?
It's going to look a little different because Armando was the anchor down low. He was the guy that typical Carolina big. We throw the ball down low. He back to the basket type of player. Now we're seeing more of what Hubert Davis likes, and that's, stretch fives, being able to shoot it from the outside. So I think that will be a little different. I just, you have it's a pro and a con to it. The pro is that this is the way that the game is going. And I think that's what makes the ACC such a great conference, is because you have all these different mixtures of 5 men that you're going against, 5-out basketball, 4-and-1. And so you look at it from that standpoint, but also, Carolina has always offensive rebounding. that will look totally different. So I just think that it's going to look a lot different than what people are used to in Carolina basketball, because now you look at Jalen Washington. He doesn't have the girth of Armando Bacot, but he can step out and shoot, which is nice. You know, be able to play 5 out, leave that thing open, let RJ Davis or Elliott get downhill, and then how can you guard that? So it'll look totally different than what people are used to seeing.
We're talking with Joel Berry. Speaking of the modernization of basketball, going to the other shade of blue across town, with Cooper Flagg, we talked with John Shire yesterday, and he said point blank, he's a guard. He's short, he's 6'9", and he can block shots and he can do that, but he is a guard. You know, everyone's telling us that the Cooper Flagg hype is real. There's levels to it. Like how real is it? Is it a freshman year, like a Durant freshman year, or could it be like a Aaron Gordon or something, who was also a massive recruit and a top NBA guy,
right,
but didn't explode in college the way that some others have?
Yeah, I love how you preference the other guys. I'm glad you didn't mention the name at all. But I think what I've been telling folks is, I think a lot of people look at number one recruit in the country. That is, you know, that equates to just averaging 30 points a game. And it doesn't. I think Cooper Flagg, and you said KD, I think his game is a lot different than KD. KD was born to be a scorer. Cooper Flagg is a guy that when you pick up the stat sheet, which a lot of people don't look at, especially fans, you will see 15 points, you know, potentially 7 assists, 4 blocks, you know, 3 steals. I think that's what makes him the number one player in the country, because he brings so much to the table. And why I think people are going to have to throw out the expectation of, where's the 25 points a game? You know, he's not going to give that. I think when you look at his impact on the game, you're going to notice when he's out there and when he's not. And that's what makes him the number one recruit, is how he has an impact on the whole game. I think I would compare him more to a LeBron James than I would to a KD, who is, you know, a scorer. Yep.
And then to complete the triangle here, yesterday NC State was in the building. Kevin Keats brought the net. They were they were having a good time. And
he said he wasn't bringing anything because he wants to make it feel like he's used to it.
But it was high energy. They're the defending ACC champions at ACC Tipoff, so you know you get to kind of swag out a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you think they have for an encore?
I mean, I was thinking about that. The only thing that could top it is winning the national championship. I'm sorry. I mean, first off, we had them as our dark horse. Like, if there was any team to come into the ACC tournament and win, it could be them.
It's a good call.
Just because of the talent that they had. DJ Horn, DJ Burns, Ben Middlebrooks was coming on. Really, the key was Ben Middlebrooks and Mo Diarra were the huge difference makers. And then once you got into the tournament, Michael O'Connell. It's hard to replicate what they did. It will go down as one of the greatest stories in college basketball. I just think it's hard to do that, but it's good for them moving forward. You know, look at who they brought in. They brought in Brandon Huntley Hatfield from Louisville, Mike James. They brought in some good pieces. Now you got Michael O'Connell still there, Jaden Taylor, Ben Middlebrooks. I think they have some really good pieces. So, but as far as replicating what they did last year, there's no way unless they win a national championship.
We're being told to wrap it up. So I don't know if you've made your pick publicly yet, but Joel Berry, former UNC point guard, ACC analyst, who wins the league and why?
I hate to do it, but I see Duke winning it.
That's big of you. I wanted
that is very it's mature of me. I've matured over the years. I just think they have so much talent, but they have a good mix of older guys and younger guys. When crap hits the fan, they can put in some older guys, but they can rely on those freshmen. But they also have Tyrese Proctor and Caleb Foster back, who's been through the ringer. I just see the makeup of their team. Like I said, I've matured, and I got to go with the Blue Devils
as a brain pick, not a heart pick.
Right.
Joel Berry, we appreciate you for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for
paying attention.
Oh yeah.
Once again, Joel Berry, ACC Network analyst, most outstanding player of the national, or the Final Four, I should say, when UNC won their national championship back in 2017. How about that?
Yeah.
I mean, how about the UNC guy picked Duke?
And said nice things about State.
He's fully a member of the media now.
I know.
He's all the way in with us. We got to start introducing him as an analyst and then a former player rather than a former player and then analyst.
I wonder if there's like a little skip of the heart there. Like we just couldn't tell.
I bet you there's some fans out there going, "What are you doing?"
Hey, hold on, now.
Joel. Now you're okay, but what you're saying isn't.
Pretty sure he had the Carolina blue tie on though.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, exactly. He knows.
Little hat tips, winks. Maybe that's it. Maybe he's superstitious and he just went full reverse jinx. He just went full reverse jinx on the Blue Hens or on Blue Devils. Excuse me.
Too.
Yeah, Joel Berry would love the Blue Hens.
Would he?
I don't know. Everybody does. In my world. See, I still let my allegiances show in my media career.
That's fine.
Let's go Blue Hens. We are live from ACC Tipoff here in Charlotte as it winds down. They're taking down television backdrops around us.
The big ACC, like the huge letters,
statues,
just rolled those away.
They just rolled them away. So we're going to finish up our show though. We're not going anywhere. We need some of you to help us out actually, because we're going to get some numbers game contestants. But first, Tim Donnelly here for Capital Financial Advisory Group, and then that includes Coach Pete. We've been talking to coaches a ton over the last 48 hours here in Charlotte, and Coach Pete, he shares something with them. He just wants to help. He wants to see others do their best, right? He wants you to basically use his coaching to have an awesome retirement, to have a retirement where you don't have to worry about what the market's doing day in and day out because your income is not dependent on the success of the market. He wants to make sure you have a maximized income so you have the most money coming your way in retirement. Coach Pete just wants to coach you to that. Just like all the coaches here just want to coach their teams to a championship, want their players to recognize their goals. Coach Pete's the same way. So if you need a coach in your corner, Coach Pete is committed to helping you retire like a champion, getting you through the financial red zone, over the goal line, and into that retirement end zone. Call 800-691-3215. That's 800-691-3215. And let them know you heard about it from me, Tim, on 99.9 The Fan. Or you can just text my name, Tim, T-I-M, to 600-700. That's Tim to 600-700 if you want to text. They'll know what that means. They'll know what to do. They'll take it from there, I should say. With that being said, it is time for the numbers game, and we do need 2 contestants. This is the second to last day you can win tickets to see Mary J. Blige, the For My Fans tour with special guests Neo and Mario at the Lenovo Center, the Lenny. Friday, January 31st. If you want the tickets, you have to win. If you want to win, you have to play. If you want to play, dial this number, 919-860-5326. We need 2 contestants. Call in now, 919-860-5326. Numbers game coming up next.
Move your sports day forward.
Be mentally prepared for whatever it is, as Dave Canales said, but ultimately, they gave up 36. And at the end of that game, inside of 5 minutes, frustrations boiled over. That's reminding yourself that, crap, we're right back where we started again in weeks 1 and week 2. Maybe it wasn't all just about the quarterback. Maybe that wasn't the whole play at all.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. So many of you have told me about your plans for the future. Starting a business, buying a home, retiring near your grandchildren. But prices are too high. So let me tell you what I will do about it as president. I will take on price gouging. I will lower the cost of healthcare insurance. We cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. I'm running to do that for everyone. And I will provide new down payment assistance to first-time home buyers and tax benefits to people who want to start their own business. Donald Trump, well, he wants to give more tax breaks to the wealthy, whereas I will cut taxes for the middle class instead. Because I know working people want to do more than just get by. You want to get ahead, and that's the future you deserve. And that is what I will focus on every day as your president. Paid for by Harris for President.
It's not just a donation.
It's a warm blanket.
It's a bottle of clean water.
It's a roof and a bed.
It's knowing someone cares.
It's feeling safe.
It's a today that's better than yesterday.
Every dollar you can spare helps so much more than you can imagine. Please, donate now to help people affected by Hurricane Helene. Your support is urgently needed.
Please donate now. 1-800-RED-CROSS or redcross.org.
With all these new winners at the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club, we need to decide who's in charge.
We need a top prize winner.
We need someone who's good with words, like us crossword winners.
If elected leader, I will extend the hours during which all winners can use the diamond-encrusted hot tub.
Yes!
New scratch-offs mean new winners. This month's tickets are packed with $370 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.04 to 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
At the UPS store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS store. Be unstoppable.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months. Hurry, sale ends October 31st, so schedule an in-home estimate at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
This hour of The Drive is brought to you by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Train Heating and Cooling Systems are engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer and learn more. It's hard to stop a train.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. We have tickets to see Mary J. Blige with special guests Neo and Mario at Lenovo Center on Friday, January 31st, going to the winner of the numbers game, which will be either Victor in Rocky Mount or Lewis in Clayton. Those are the 2 contestants. Graham, Dennis stepped away, so you're going to go ahead and be the judge for this one. So
let's go.
Be sure you pay attention to the answers. Victor in Rocky Mount will go to you first. In honor of Danny Green retiring today from the NBA. He was a star in college. He was a role player in the NBA for a long time, couple of championships. Go ahead and name who you think is the best role player in sports history. And whoever it is, we'll decide our favorite answer.
In all sports, Dennis Rodman.
All sports. Go ahead and say that again. Oh, Dennis Rodman. Okay. That's a solid role player. Dennis Rodman, the pick from Victor. By the way, Graham, Dennis is back, so you guys can. I'm
gonna let Graham decide.
All right, there you go. So you can either share your answers and debate, or one of you can take over. Lewis and Clayton, are you there?
Hello.
Oh, there you are, Lewis. Lewis, the question is, in honor of Danny Green retiring, who is the greatest role player in professional sports?
The greatest role player. Wow. I don't know. I'm racking my brain. I'm gonna say Scottie Pippen.
That's funny. We
that
got
is funny.
We got Rodman and Pippen. Both, you could argue are stars, but I guess you're putting Michael Jordan as the star and everyone else a role player. Who is it? Is it Rodman or Pippen, Dennis? Or Graham? Actually, Graham.
I want Graham to decide this one.
Is it Rodman or Pippen?
I love how they both went with Bulls players as well, but I'm going to have to go with Victor and Dennis Rodman, only because he's a great role player, but also he's just a comedian when he was explaining stuff in The Last Dance. So let's go with Victor and Rocky Mount.
All right, Victor, you get to go first. Lewis, don't worry, you'll have your chance.
I was biased on that one. I was going to say Dennis.
Oh,
because of Dennis Rodman. No.
Well, then good thing you weren't the choice.
Is that right?
Victor and Rocky Mount, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. The categories are NFL, same initials, players who have the same initial for their first and last name, NFL, North Carolina-born players, baseball Hall of Famers, or NHL Canes and Whalers only. Which category would you like?
The first category. NFL,
the first one?
same letters.
All right. These are all players whose first and last names start with the same letter, NFL players. I will give you the player and the team. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
I'm ready.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Justin Jefferson, Minnesota Vikings.
81.
Incorrect. Steve Smith, Carolina Panthers.
86.
Incorrect. Justin Jefferson, Minnesota Vikings.
82.
Incorrect. Steve Smith, Carolina Panthers.
85.
Incorrect. Justin Jefferson, Minnesota Vikings.
Pass.
What was that?
Pass.
Curtis Conway, Chicago Bears.
64.
Incorrect. Steve Smith, Carolina Panthers.
83.
It was 89 for Steve Smith, 89. Justin Jefferson, this is not the first time this has happened with Justin Jefferson. He wears number 18. You said 81 first. I think some people are so wide receivers are in the 80s that when their mind's eye goes to 18, they like mirror flip it and they end up with 81. Curtis Conway with the Bears, by the way, another one in the 80s. He was number 80, 80. Unfortunately, that is a 0 for you. However, there is one last lifeline, which is if there is a tie, it goes to whoever goes first. So you still have a chance. So go ahead and sit on the line, and we'll see if that chance comes true. That leads us to Lewis and Clayton. Lewis, are you there?
Yes, I'm in.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are North Carolina-born NFL players, Baseball Hall of Famers, or NHL but Canes and Whalers only.
Baseball Hall of Famers.
Baseball Hall of Famers. I like your style. Playoffs in action. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it, and you need one for the win. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Derek Jeter, New York Yankees.
2.
Correct. David Ortiz, Boston Red Sox.
35.
Incorrect. Trevor Hoffman, San Diego Padres.
Who?
Trevor Hoffman, San Diego Padres.
37.
Incorrect. David Ortiz, Boston Red Sox.
Pass.
Johnny Bench, Cincinnati Reds.
5.
Correct. Paul Molitor, Milwaukee Brewers.
18.
Incorrect. You got 2. That's double what you needed to win. Derek Jeter, number 2. Derek Jeter. You got that one. You got David Ortiz. Or you didn't get David Ortiz or Trevor Hoffman. Ironically, 34 would have worked for both of them.
And there you go.
Trevor Hoffman would have also accepted 51.
Know his number anyway. I'm a Yankee fan.
We haven't had that yet. We haven't had like a Yankee fan refuse to give the correct answer on a Red Sox fan just so their friends didn't think they knew it. That's funny. But you got Jeter. You got Johnny Bench. Paul Molitor, number 4 for the Milwaukee Brewers. But 2 enough for the win. Congratulations. You're going to have tickets to see Mary J. Blige.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Stay on the line. Graham will get your info to make sure you get the tickets. That is a pair of tickets to see Mary J. Blige, the For My Fans tour, with special guests Neo and Mario at Lenovo Center.
You know, I did not know that Trevor Hoffman wore 34 at some point in his career. I always knew him as number 51.
I think that's, yeah.
That was like the one that he wore prominently.
A lot of times baseball players, they get called up for like a week.
Yeah.
And they wear a number. And they could be back down in the minors for a year and a half. Then they come back up and they end up with the number they end up with. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened, because 51 is what I think of as well for Trevor Hoffman. One of the best closers in the history of the game.
Yeah.
Underrated.
And his Padres are, I think because he pitched in the era of Mariano Rivera, who's the best closer of all time. So he was, and plus he played out in San Diego. So just kind of West Coast. Not everyone gets a chance to see him all the time.
He's the closer on a West Coast team.
Yeah.
West Coast games sometimes start at 10:20.
The closer it's like 1 a.m.
The closer doesn't come in until the end of that game. So it's a late deal there.
And plus Rivera was so dominant.
But, funnily enough, an observation from ACC Tipoff, which is where we are here in Charlotte, tying to the numbers game. Multiple players who are established in the ACC are changing up their numbers.
Jaden Taylor?
We talked with Jaden Taylor. He went from number 1 to number 8. We talked with Cam Hildreth at Wake. He went from number 2, I believe, to number 6. There's some shaking up, and it's funny to hear those reasons why. And we're going to talk to Cam Hildreth here, and we're going to air the conversation from earlier in a couple of minutes, so he'll explain for his. But it's athletes and numbers are a weird connection. I remember in college, guys were, getting tattoos of their numbers and stuff. And I'm going like, you're pretty, all right. You're locked in. You can't, the jewelry with your number on it is big. The reason behind it's serious.
Yeah. It's, for me, it was 7 for lacrosse and 50 for football.
Was there a reason for either of those?
50 was actually for football was the number that my older cousin wore.
Okay.
So it was
Mine isn't related.
So
also.
yeah, so cousin related. But when I got to college, 50 was taken by a senior, and I was also a freshman. Like, you're wearing number 54. I was okay. And then actually, when I was in lacrosse in high school, someone actually had 7. I got 7 before I did. So I actually wore number 5. But when I got to college, I was like, is anyone wearing 7? Like, no. I'm like, that's the one I want. Like, that was always 7 was always a thing for me. My dad was born in New York City. He's a huge Yankee fan, loved Mickey Mantle. So that was like one of his favorite players growing up was Mick.
Pretty good.
Yeah, so like he always wore 7. That's just kind of stuck with me.
And I don't know. I think it's funny. Like, guys would come in and not get the number they choose they want right away. Freshmen and they would like act like I'm not going to play as well. Like, it's like it can get into your brain. So maybe what I'm saying is big season from Jaden Taylor, big season from Cam Hildreth, because they're finally in the numbers that they've probably wanted all along. Cam Hildreth will be coming up, as I mentioned, in a second. But first, here's Dennis.
Speaking of numbers you need to know, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. That's a number you need to know if you're ever injured in a motorcycle accident. Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Law Tigers. Again, remember that number, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. But also, before you even get back on the motorcycle again, which, by the way, folks, it's riding season. I don't know if you felt the weather outside. It's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, trust me, if I didn't have to take all the equipment that we have here, I consider taking the motorcycle down here to Charlotte, but I did not because I got a lot of equipment I got to bring back with me. But keep in mind, folks, there's going to be a lot more motorcycles out there on the road. But even before you get back on the bike, go to lawtigers.com. Again, lawtigers.com. Scroll down on their homepage. They have a free rider benefit kit for you. It's free. It's good for you to know what Law Tigers provides for you as someone who's a motorcycle rider. If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, because we all know insurance companies aren't always the best. They're not the quickest in terms of getting you what you need. This is where Law Tigers comes in. Your case evaluation with them is always free. They do not get paid until your case settles. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. Law Tigers, they're riders too. They know what your gear is worth. They know what your bike is worth. And most importantly, they understand what you're going through after an accident. They are part of that motorcycle riding community. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, Cam Hildreth, the senior guard for Wake Forest, 4-year player in a college program. Doesn't happen that often anymore. He joined us earlier today. That conversation's coming up right after this.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
The Blue Devils up 21-20, and they got their arms reaching for that bell.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med, Sammy's Tap and Grill, and Roofworks.
Connection, opportunity, possibility. It's what we all want. Spectrum has built a world where anything is possible, with products and services designed to work better together for a seamless connectivity experience. A connection to family and friends, a connection to education, and a connection to new opportunities. So there's no limit to how big we can dream. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean. routine.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text STAPLE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text STAPLE to 321-321. That's STAPLE to 321-321.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Experience our Raleigh tradition. Head to Amedio's Italian Restaurant, a family favorite for over 60 years. From weekly specials to their famous homemade recipes, Amedio's uses only the freshest ingredients. Need a touchdown for your tailgate? Amedio's offers delicious takeout, perfect for cheering on the Wolfpack. Or they can host your private party. Amedio's even caters. Amedio's Italian Restaurant, Raleigh's Taste of Italy since 1963. Visit AmediosRestaurant.com for details.
North Carolina football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown, and he throws an awesome block so his teammate can score instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. I'm Victoria Vodnecker with BetMGM, and there is BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, where you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. Everyone knows the most exciting part of football is the score. With BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try the first touchdown score bet today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Existing customer offer subject to eligibility requirements. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, now joining us here on The Drive at ACC Tipoff. Wake Forest senior guard Cam Hildreth. Cam, hometown Worthing, England?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Do you make it home often in the off season?
I went home once in the summer, just now. It was nice to go back home, but it's difficult. You know how busy the season gets, some time travel and stuff like that. So it's hard to get home. But they're going to come out on Christmas, so it'll be good to see them then.
So recharged, ready to go for the season?
Yes, sir.
I was poking around on your social media, which is part of the reason I knew the off season was a grind. You were like a lot of workout videos.
Yeah.
Changing from number 2 to number 6 on the jersey number.
Yep.
We'll start with that. Why the change going into your 4th year in the program?
So I guess you can call it a change, but it's not really a change. I've always been number 6 since I was younger. And the story behind it is kind of stupid, but it's funny. So I go ahead and say it. Basically, it was like a U11 game, and I was 6 years old. And my coach had came up to me and asked me what number I am. And I thought he asked how old I am. So he gave me number 6. And ever since then, I was number 6. And throughout the high school stages, I just stayed number 6. So, and this was the first time that they allowed it in college basketball. So that was the reason why I switched over.
So I can do some math there. You were playing U11 as a 6-year-old?
Yeah.
All right. So pretty good even from the jump.
Trying to be.
All
I was played from young.
Cam Hildreth, Wake Forest senior guard, connecting with us here at ACC Tipoff. How does it feel being like the 4th year guy at Wake Forest when Coach Forbes has done such a good job in the transfer portal, but it's picking these guys from all other colleges. Meanwhile, you've been here with the program the whole time.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that just kind of shows, the relationship that me and Coach have and that we built over the years. We just trust one another. Obviously it was a progress growing up process, starting as a freshman, not playing as much, going, roller coaster and stuff like that. But I think where we're at now, being a 4-year guy, just knowing the system, knowing the league and stuff like that, just helping everyone that comes in and just ready to have a great year.
Is there a little bit more trust between you two? Like I played college football, so I know you bring guys in for visits and you bring them, and then the coach goes to a few, hey, are they good dudes? Like, do they fit in with what we're doing? Is coach asking you that when these transfers are coming in?
Yeah, no, definitely. We have every time that we either have a players panel where the recruits will come in and ask questions, I'm usually in there talking to them and stuff like that. He wants to come over and make sure, like you said, we're having someone that's going to come in and fit the system, doesn't want to break the system, because what he's built and what he's building is really good. And Wake Forest is on a rise, so I'm happy for him and what he's done.
What about these three captains? We talked with Coach Forbes, and he told us that the rule here at ACC Media Days, you bring 2 players. But he looked at him and said, I'm bringing 3 or I'm bringing none, because he wanted yourself, Efton Reid, as well as Hunter Salas all here. What's the relationship like between you 3 as the leaders of this program?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we actually have a great relationship off the court, especially. We hang out together a lot of the time on the weekends after practice, stuff like that. We just kick it. And I think that translates over to the court as well. And he knows that because we're an older guys and we've experienced, the league, we experienced college basketball for a long time, that he trusts us, that we know we're doing the right things and we can take the youngers under our wing and stuff like that. So I think it's very important to have a coach that trusts a core group like that. I think we're a really good core group as well. So
when the 3 big men on campus, the leading scorers and everything are hanging out, what are y'all doing? Is it competitive? Is it chill? Like, give us the vibe.
It depends. I mean, in practice, we're always competing. Me and Hunt are very rarely on the same team. We're usually guarding each other just to help each other get better and stuff like that. But yeah, every time we walk around on campus, people will come up to us and we'll talk to them. We're just regular people, we're not like, we don't want them to feel like we're just basketball players and we don't talk to no one. And I think that's a really good thing about Wake Forest as well. The whole community is just involved and that makes it more special.
Last year during the season, you had some big wins. I looked at the core and I was excited about what was coming back this year. You 3 amongst them, Parker Friedrichsen, who's back coming off the bench a season ago. But the other one was Andrew Carr, who's playing for Kentucky this year. Again, I mentioned I played college sports, but the portal wasn't a thing. So take me into what's that like? Do you try to talk him out of leaving? Like, when you hear he's thinking about the portal, do you approach it? Is there an unwritten rule that you don't like? How does that all play out?
Yeah, I think obviously for me or for everyone that's in college basketball, there's a lot to think about for what your steps of processes to get to the end goal. And everyone's path is different. But when the conversations are going through, like, whether everyone's leaving, people are staying, whoever it may be, definitely starts flagging things. But at the end of the day, you just kind of as much as you may want them to stay or not, you have to allow them to do what's best for them or what they think is best for them. And then, send them their wishes, and then it's over from there. We're now enemies. If we play against each other, we're trying to win. So that's how that is.
The home versus away difference in wins and losses, over the past few years, but last year noted 17 home wins, 21 wins overall. Is that something that like is mentioned? Do you work on it, or is it just basketball is basketball and the road trip thing is a coincidence?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the road trip is something that we are a lot of in control. We're in control with a lot of the mistakes that we had. And I think we're going to be a lot better this year with that. But yeah, at home at the Joel, I think it's one of the hardest places to play, especially in the conference. And we just have so much fun there. We get the crowd involved and everyone, and it's just a super fun experience. But yeah, on the road, I think we just got to cut down on little mistakes, but they're the mistakes that we can control. So I don't think that'll be a problem this year.
Why do those mistakes pop up on the road and not at home, though? That's kind of the gist of it, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just the atmosphere. Like I said, like how we get our crowd going when we're at home, the same goes away, when we're away and they get into it and stuff. And sometimes it's hard to fight back, 10,000 people rather than just 5 people. So yeah, I feel like that's just the biggest thing for us.
All right, Cam, we appreciate you for stopping by. Good luck this season.
Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Once again, that was senior guard for Wake Forest, Cam Hildreth, joining us here at ACC Tipoff. And we are just minutes away from packing things up and getting home.
Oh, yeah.
Which will be fun because we do have to turn the page a little bit here. ACC Tipoff has been fantastic.
It's been
awesome. We'll make all of our picks and everything right before game start. I like to gather as much preseason information as I can before I make those picks. But there's still a lot of football that's going to be played this weekend. There's the Canes home opener
Puck drops tomorrow.
We will be outside the Lenovo Center for a live version of The Drive tomorrow starting at 3. So we are, we got to get back and get rested because tomorrow's a big day.
Yeah.
And then Saturday's a big day. And then Sunday's a big day. It's that part of the calendar.
I'll be back here in Charlotte for covering the Panthers game on Sunday.
Get used to that drive.
Take that train, baby.
On the drive. Huh?
There it is.
See what we're doing here. ACC Tip-Off. For those of you that missed any of our coverage, just about all the interviews are already up on YouTube.
They're already all there.
And they will. All right, there you go. They're all up there.
Yep.
So if you want to check out head coach, we have all 3 interviews with head coaches from the Triangle, as well as an assortment of coaches from around the ACC. Tony Bennett, Pat Kelsey from UVA and Louisville, Steve Forbes from Wake Forest, player interviews. It's all up there. So check it out on YouTube. Subscribe while you're there. Comment while you're there. Share it with your friends while you're there. We would greatly appreciate it. And then get ready for Puck Drop tomorrow. I guess if there's questions about the Canes, we've had to put everything on hold for ACC Tip-Off. We'll be outside of the Lenovo Center breaking things down. So if you have questions, concerns, comments you want to make, YouTube comments and/or our Twitter is probably the best way to get them.
If you're tailgating there, come say hey.
Come stop by.
I know actually had a couple people that hit me up, like talk to me like off air, like call into the studio and they're like, hey, you guys are gonna be out there. Hey, what time the parking lot's open? Because I'm gonna be I'm taking like a half day. There's people that I know that are taking a half day on Friday so they can get out there and tailgate. It's gonna be a gorgeous day out there, and tailgating is gonna be perfect weather. But we're also gonna do our first goal scorer.
First touchdown scorer
for the Panthers game on Sunday.
Numbers game. It's all happening tomorrow right here on the drive.
Mike Maniscalco will join us. Walt Ruff is going to join us tomorrow as well, both
Team
on
reporter.
set. But honestly, just if you're at the game tomorrow, just come say hey.
Come say hi. We like interacting with everybody. But also, as we get set to transition to the new Canes, transit to the Canes season opener, transition to a weekend of football as well. A couple of shout outs. Dennis and I get the cool part of this job. We get to come out here and talk to players and coaches and everything. Shout out to Graham back at the studio, all of our engineers and everybody that make the equipment work so we can have these interviews for you from Charlotte. It's always a blast for us, and we're always appreciative for it. And of course, listeners as well. We don't say it enough, but you guys are awesome. Subscribe to our YouTube. Get ready for Overdrive coming up next. You are going to hear from Hubert Davis, the head coach of UNC first, Jeff Capel, former Duke player, head coach of Pitt second. So enjoy both of those conversations on Overdrive here on 99.9 The Fan. We'll see you tomorrow outside the Lenovo Center. Until then, have a fantastic night, everybody, and we're going to get driving. See ya.
Football is on the menu tonight.
Showtime, prime time.
And we're delivering some fresh NFC action.
Here we go.